I think I've experienced the power of faith as a kid.
Right. Like when it's all of the like, you know, like the mega church, like that kind of all that stripped away, and like that's like faith in like its purest form, kind of that in like that situation.
Yeah,
that
especially as a kid,
experienced.
being just innocent and ignorant
Yeah.
to a lot of things. It's easy to I would say it's easier to lend yourself to that type of stuff. But as you grow older and you take in more information and then
Get more
like
jaded.
yeah, and get more jaded and get caught up in life, you don't really think about it. And I don't know, I think you get to a point where you feel like that something like that is missing. Like you feel like, especially if you feel depressed or just like feel like there's no point of living, you know, like
Yeah.
when you get to that point, then you are missing something. You're missing something in your heart, in your spirit,
Yeah.
and whatever it is that you're experiencing, but you are missing something.
Yeah.
So, and right now, given that depression is such a huge, huge, huge thing, I think that's also driving a whole lot of the revival of faith in a lot of
Yeah.
people.
I'm curious. So, what you bringing that up, it like makes me think that like, have you like experienced like suicidal ideation and like depression and stuff like that, or you like it's not, you're more just talking about like, because I was curious
Yeah,
like if that was,
yeah.
if you went through depression and stuff, like what was the thing that got you out of it?
I don't, because when people describe what depression feels like, it feels like you are at that line, like at that line where you truly will do something to yourself and you feel like that's the best way to go about it. Like, I don't think I've ever gotten to that line, but I have, like, I went through a long period where I just didn't feel anything. Like I had this lack of feeling, this lack of empathy, this lack of just, yeah, like I couldn't feel mad. I couldn't even feel sad. Like that
Yeah.
was
That's
that was the
definitely still
most, yeah,
depression. Yeah.
that was a fucked up. I think I missed feeling sad more than anything,
Yeah.
honestly.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's like a different, like, I think that's the difference between feeling like someone saying on a, like something made them feel depressed is like makes you feel sad. But when you're truly depressed, like that doesn't even, you lose all like track of emotions, I guess.
Hmm.
It's just like numbness, I think, a lot.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's why people start to like look for alternatives for things to start feeling something. Like,
Yeah.
for example, people just start cutting their wrists. Like, I think a lot of it just has to do with, I just want to feel something. I think it also
Right.
contributes to like a lot of petty crime, like stealing something from the store is something that might give you an
Yeah.
adrenaline, and it might make you feel something. And if it does make you feel something from nothing, and it's the only thing that does it for you,
Right.
then you might do it again and again and again.
What got you out of that feeling like numb period of your life? I don't know if there was nothing in specific you.
No, there it was like feeling success in something in life. And the first time I felt that was paying off my debt and learning new things, like learning foundational level stuff about simple stuff in our everyday life, like how do these lights work, you know, like how do these microphones work? Like to a lot of people, it's just magic. Like
Yeah.
you just hear each other and it's just magic, you know. And being able to start getting a glance into this stuff, like it was it felt like progress. It felt like I was moving forward with something. I felt like I was getting a little momentum with something. And once I finally became a maintenance tech, because I interviewed like 3 times and I failed like 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And the fourth
This
fourth
was
time
at Tesla?
yeah. The fourth time I still wasn't gonna make it. I still didn't know what I needed to know, but at school we had this little project to build a robot. So I just brought the robot with me to the interview, and I just showed off the robot, and they didn't have any other questions. They just had questions about the robot, which obviously since I
Really?
built it, I was able to give like accurate answers about it. So
Yeah.
that's what just convinced, like they did. It was 15 minutes each one, but all of them ended it early. It was like, oh yeah, no. That's fine, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I hope to see you later. Hope to see you on the team. I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
That's
And then I
crazy.
joined the team, and then that's when I really feel scared and fucking like
Yeah.
really lost and just oh my, like if I stop production for a second, like it's the end of the world for a lot of people, and I don't know what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
so that was super stressful. But then once I started seeing success there, like I started seeing the fruits of my labor. And that was super exhilarating, like incredibly exhilarating. It was like self-fulfilling. Like I started to feel confidence in something again.
Yeah.
And so and then looking back at all the like what it took to get there, like it felt even better. Like it felt awesome.
Yeah.
That's when I really felt like, okay, well, really, really, I can do whatever I really set my mind to. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is like setting your mind to, and that's usually the hardest part.
Right. And I think you kind of touched on that in the podcast with Juan, is where you had like that breakthrough, or like that snap,
Mhm.
that moment where like something snapped in you, and that's like kind of like what like pushed you into that like momentum of being able to like setting your mind
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
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 And it's like learning a cheat code, and all you want to do once you learn the cheat code is like tell everybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and like, hey, like just, try.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's how I feel about therapy, honestly. And I know that it's kind of a polarizing issue for some people. And I also know that it's like not always like super like accessible for a lot of people. And so I definitely don't want to be like the person that's like, if you don't do this, like that's why I'm asking you, like what did it for you? Because I'm sure there are other, like not everyone has gone to therapy, and lots of people have gotten out of those things in their life, but
Yeah.
so I'm always curious to hear what like did it for other people. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I was in a really like I was like severely suicidal. I attempted suicide in 2022 or 3. Again, that like area of years for me is so fuzzy. Like I really don't remember much of those years, and like it's really kind of like a miracle that I'm even alive. Like I really do say like I think like that like previous relationship like almost cost me my life, like just because of what like the mental toll that it took on me. And I think that for me it was like kind of just coming back to, like, remembering, like, who I was at, like, my core, I think, and, like, realizing that I just wanted to, like, help people. That was, like, I think in my lowest points, that was always, like, I remember one time, it was, like, right after Juanes and I had started dating, like, we had only been together for like, we started dating, in like, October, and it was, like, February, and
Mhm.
I was having a really hard time with, like, just I was still pretty early in, like, therapy, and, like, I was not having a great time, and I just remember, like, randomly, I just was like, "You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just," uh 'cause, Mabo, his mom was going through chemo, and, his, like obviously his sister, like, their mom lives with his sister, so, like, she was going through all of that as well, and I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna make, like, a huge floral arrangement for both of them for Valentine's Day," and I just, like that, like, somehow, like, I was, like, in bed, like, all day, like, just, like, really, like, just feeling so numb, and that, like, somehow, like, just, like, clicked something in my head, and I
Oh,
just, like
doing something for someone else?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
just, like, got out of bed and was, like I just started planning it. I'd never made a floral arrangement before, but, I learned, like, a new hobby of mine, like, that I taught myself how to do floral arrangements. Is actually, like everyone was like, "You should sell these, Meli," and I was like, "I have no idea how to do that. I'm not good at, like, entrepreneurial stuff," but it was fun, and, like, it made them both cry, like, of happiness, not that sadness, but, like like, they were, like it was, like, a big moment for them, and, like, I think that that was for me, like I think that is, like, something that just gets me out of my head. Like, I know that I have plenty of things that I could, like, plenty of enough bad things have happened to me in my life that I could spend my whole life, feeling like a victim and feeling like, "Why would this happen to me? This isn't fair. Like, my life sucks." But there's also so many like, I'm also like, there's plenty of people who are going through worse than me right now in this instant. Or if we really want to look into like the scale of things, like even I could like there's always someone who's going through something worse if you're really thinking about it, you know? And I just think that that's something that like for me is like I feel like that's like my purpose in life is just to like I don't know how many people I can like really help or like do something for, but you don't even know, I guess, until you start trying, you know? And I think that to me, like, I'm only here because of the people who stuck with me when I was at my lowest. And like, it was probably so hard to spend time with me. Like, at that point in my life, I was like, just like, I was constantly getting blackout drunk just to like not feel anything or like high. And like, I was not fun to be around at like family gatherings or anything, but like there was still like my family who was like always like, and my best friend from Oregon, she like would call me. I have so many voicemails in my phone from her, like when I was like at my most depressed and I wouldn't even answer the phone and she would leave me a voicemail every single time. And she waited, like she was there that whole time. And then once I actually was able to like talk again and like be interested in people again, she was still there. And like that's like the one person like that I was friends with from before that was like there for me, like through that entire thing. And I feel like if I can be that type of person, like that lifeline for someone else, like then that's like makes it all worth it to me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's still in your life?
Yeah. Shout out Bree.
Shout out Bree.
She just got married actually, and I was the maid of honor, and I was trying to write her speech.
Uh-huh.
So I just listened to all the voicemails that she sent me while I was on the plane, and I was crying, and I was just writing my speech.
Dang.
But I made a lot of people cry when my speech. So.
Yeah. Oh, making speeches is hard.
Yeah, I realized I hate speeches. I also made a speech at my mom's wedding, and both of those speeches at my friend and my mom's wedding, my hands were shaking so hard. Like I literally like visible, like I couldn't even like hold my glass. But I feel like it's like I somehow have a knack for like making people cry in my speeches because everyone cried at both of my speeches. But I think I'm a little bit more of like a writer than like a presenter.
Mhm.
Because I hate the feeling of presenting. That's
Yeah.
like ever since I was a kid in school, like that was like my least favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
That's why I don't even know how I'm doing this podcast
I know,
now.
right? Yeah.
I'm like every
Yeah.
time I think too hard about like this is gonna be online, people
Yeah.
are gonna listen to me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
start
yeah.
panicking, and I just have to like
Yeah.
pretend that it's not happening.
Yeah, it helps not to think about it.
Yeah.
Like at all. But that's also the cool thing about it is sometimes when you do get into a conversation or you are trying to articulate an idea, it takes all your brain power. So you're not really
That's
thinking about the
true.
people around you.
Yeah.
And because you could also tell, like when you're really thinking hard, it's like you could even with just facial expressions, even if you don't like present whatever you're trying to say, well, like you could tell what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the intention behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, or you're just trying to fumble it around in your brain because a lot of us don't really have well thought out like ideas. We just have these like assumptions that we kind of base our reality around.
Yeah.
And that's the main driver for a lot of the conversations that I'm trying to have is just always question our base assumptions.
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah, critical thinking I think is like I feel like if like I don't really at this point in my life care how much like classical education someone has because if they don't have the ability to critical think, then I don't think that like I feel like that's like for intelligence, that's like the main thing. Like I don't like the person that is maybe doesn't have the most like academia experience, if they can think critically, I think that they're like just as intelligent or more more intelligent than someone who did and can't think critically, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. No, and a lot of people don't know that. That was a eureka moment of learning the manufacturing and all that. That was like, oh
Yeah,
hey,
that's a
I
really
can
good point.
like
Like
this is actually
troubleshooting and
this is
stuff.
actually something that that is hard to acquire, and once you acquire it, like it's fun. Like a lot of that could be said to for any kind of like trade type skill, like being a woodworker or being a AC repair guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could start your own little like mini thing within like just a neighbor. If I'm a good AC repair guy, I'm just going around all my neighbors here
Yeah.
and just asking them like, "Hey, I'm really good with ACs. I work for this company, and this is my day-to-day job. But like, if you ever need anything with your AC, like, let me know." And like, it's just us. Like, then I could have my own little side business, little side gig,
Yeah.
that and then any other thing, like a car repair guy. Like, there's a lot of car repair guys. I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are super into cars, into engines and all that. Like it's sometimes I feel like I'm missing out because I'm not in it at all.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not in
into
it at all.
cars. That
Yeah.
I've never really like. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes especially if I'm in a group of like car people, I'm like, dang, they really have like a different like level of connection right now, and they're all talking about something, and I feel like, I mean, I drive a car every day. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I should maybe know a little bit more, but I just have
Mm-hmm.
never. It's never called
Yeah.
my attention
Yeah.
before.
You start to get an appreciation for it, and because there is something about like mechanically putting something together and it making it do like some amazing, like the F1. Like a lot of people are really into
Yeah.
F1.
I did I like the documentary they have on Netflix
Oh, the Ride
of
to
like all
Survive
of,
or
maybe.
what?
I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I've like only watched I watched like maybe like one season or something with Juanes because I actually got really I'm to be fair, I got mostly into it for the chisme of it all because
Hmm.
I feel like there's so many like
There is, yeah,
there's
yeah.
so many like people that like
Rivalries and
right, and like this company hates them, and like this guy went from this company to this one, and I that's like my main thing.
yeah,
I always joke that that's the reason that I learned Spanish is just
to learn the chismes.
because I'm chismosa, and I
Yeah.
always wanted to know like when my friends would get in trouble, what their parents were saying to them, because I was like, that's not fair. You get to hear what my mom says when she gets me in trouble, and so I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna start learning Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Learning Spanish is a very um nice thing to have
Yeah.
in your repertoire. Um but I do feel bad for the people that can't communicate with each other. Like even if you're like a Spanish speaker that can't speak English or an English speaker that can't speak Spanish, like I think language is something that really does tie a society together.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's enough like differences in language in different areas, I feel like that does tear into a society that is supposedly supposed to have uh shared values, but
Mm-hmm. Like a community, that
yeah,
community
but not just a
aspect.
community, like a nation. Like what? Like this is the other thing that I've really been trying to push people to think about is like what does it mean to be an American? Like what makes you proud to be an American? Like what is it about America that and where you grew up and how you developed and who you are as a person now that makes it to where this nation is something to be proud of and that we should salvage it. We should take it back from the evil forces that currently control it like
Mm-hmm.
what would motivate most people to do that?
Yeah, I guess for me, like what I always what like thought was cool about the US was just the diversity that there is so many like there are so many different cultures and ethnicities and languages that kind of build up what it is. Um it's not like it's not like a monoculture. I guess I feel like that's more of an agricultural term, but like
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like it's
yeah,
like there's no American culture.
right. But I also think that is part of what makes it so divided is because there isn't like I think about like for example, I had a friend in high school. She's from Latvia and she did like an exchange year my senior
She's
year
from
of
what?
Latvia.
What's that?
Is a country next to it's like there's Russia and then there's Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Okay,
ones.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, not Lithuania. Oh, okay, that's a different one, right?
No, yeah, Lithuania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lithuania is the one below Latvia, and then there's Latvia and then Estonia.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was from Latvia, and I visited her like that summer after I graduated. And it's such a small country, and because they were part of Russia, also shout out Gabby.
Shout out, Gabby.
But because they were part of the USSR they were actually, it's really interesting. They were under like Nazi power for a while, and then USSR, and they're finally like their own country, and they're so like, it's very like, they have Latvian culture. It's very like strong nationalistic culture, and everyone kind of rallies behind that. And I think that it's like in the US there is some of that, I think, but it's also like, I think that the reason why
it feels like it's discouraged.
Yeah, well, and I think that that's also because it's like, it doesn't fully resonate with everyone as like what the pure American culture is. And I do think that it's also discouraged because nationalism has like a bad underside to it. You know, like in Latvia, like there's no like very little diversity, and it does border on racism sometimes because it's like very, very strongly nationalistic. Which is like kind of, it's what's keeping them afloat right now, but it also is like, it's like you hear some people talking and you're like, oh, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
No, because like these different like nationalistic, it's like you represent a culture, right? Like your culture. What is your culture? And you like at some point you you're proud of that culture, right?
yeah,
There's a lot of there's a lot of pride in culture. And if like for example that how do you say it again?
Latvia,
Latvia. Latvia?
Latvia, yeah,
Latvia. Um if they are if like culturally it is a white nation like for millennia, like they are the indigenous people of that area.
essentially, yeah.
So they do have a certain feeling of attachment to their community and their culture.
I think it's when it's superiority, a feeling of
Yeah.
that is like, it gets a little murky,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. But that's what it like. Where does it cross that line? Because like
Right.
in Africa, like there's just a lot of there's also like that type of vibe that if you are a different race, you're not welcome there.
Mm-hmm.
But but I think that's like Mexico. Mexico's also super racist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like I think that it's so interesting to me that like how like there's really barely any like Black people in Mexico that like
Mhm.
at least from my
Oh no,
perspective
but I
of
mean
like,
just racist with themselves, like
yeah,
Mexicans.
like the
Like if you're a
colorism and stuff.
if you're a
Yeah.
brown Mexican, like
Yeah.
it's a hard life.
Well, and
Man.
I think that, yeah, it's really interesting to me that like when and I, we were in an Uber one time, we were talking and the driver was Venezuelan, and he was like, yeah, we don't have racism in South America like you guys do in the US. And when I was like, we do, we just call it colorism.
Yeah,
Like we're all the same race, so we can't really call it racism,
yeah.
but it's like you get like if you have light skin and light eyes, people are definitely going to treat you differently. Like
Yeah.
it's just like a different. I think it's like also like a lot of like the Spaniards kind of like brought that and kind of like left that as like a almost like a generational curse for most places that were like
Mm-hmm.
colonized by Spain, is like very like I've like seen some things about like I think that's called like etymology or something, like where words come from.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain like the way of like saying like curly hair or something. Like there were like certain things where like Spaniards would just like call mixed people like some random, like it's kind of like how like Christopher Columbus was like, these are Indians, even though he didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anything. He was like actually Native Americans. Like there's just like a lot of like they it just like was passed down and now that's kind of just like built into society of like the colorism.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes us it makes me think what makes us different now as opposed to any other society ever,
Yeah.
like in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
Like what does make us different, and why race is such a like a divisive thing. Like why is it? Because racism has always been a thing, and
Mm-hmm.
like genocides have happened just purely on ethnicity, purely on that just culture,
Yeah.
and religion. Obviously, religious persecutions
Yeah. It
is a
makes me
huge thing.
wonder, like, I like to think that if/when we ever make contact with aliens, it will like solve most of the Earth's problems
Mm-hmm.
and we'll all unite under being human and then just start being like speciesist or whatever. So like
Specious,
speciest
yeah.
to like whatever aliens that we find. And that's my like cute little like happy
Yeah.
ever after for us. I feel like we need like a much greater quote unquote evil to focus on to be able to be like, we're not that different after all.
All right, so hear me out. Just see if you can go on this adventure with me.
Okay.
But what if aliens had already come and visited us, and we already had that, like, what's now called come to Jesus moment, where they came and they were like, all right, guys, you guys have some serious problems. Let me tell you, like, what you need to do. Like, this is the way. This is the truth. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
And let's just assume that these aliens took the form of,
Oh, like religious figures?
yeah, like let's
Like
say Jesus
Muhammad,
was some kind
Buddha,
of, yeah,
Jesus.
like they were all aliens,
Oh,
and they were
whoa.
just coming here to try to, like, tell us some shit that we needed to know.
And that's like their miracles was just like them basically being aliens and having different physiology than us.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you on this journey.
Yeah,
I like that.
but then that makes you think, okay, so if you accept that and you start to open your mind to that, maybe that was a possibility. All right, so what was it that they were trying to tell us?
Right.
And why what's the differences between all of them?
Yeah. Well, I think
And
at the base, all religions for the most part have like the common theme of just peace and love, I think. But I think that that's like the human greed and corruption always is
mm-hmm,
like what I mean, like if you look at like the Catholic Church and like the mega churches and everything, I feel like that's like the common thread of like that. And even, I mean, if we look at like Islamic nations, I think that is like a bastardization of like what Islam is probably really supposed to be about. It's just when you make a theocracy and you add in political corruption to a religion, you're going to get something horrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you add humans in charge of anything, it's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe the aliens just are like a purer form than us.
yeah. But this is why that not just that, but like everything else that's coming together, it makes me like, okay, let's look into this a little bit. Okay, so there's different religions. All of them kind of mention Jesus Christ. So it all kind of makes you think, okay, so they all agree that this one guy actually did exist. And if this one guy did exist,
like does Buddhism and like
yeah, they recognize Jesus.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, I know, but it is wild,
Yeah.
right? It's like even Hinduism, and
Yeah.
it
That's really interesting.
yeah, it makes you think, okay, well, there's something to this, okay.
Right.
And then it makes you think, okay, so what is, like, why is Christianity, why did it take over the way it did? Like back when that happened, back when he was crucified and all that.
I feel like part of it was just like the radical ideals of it and based off of the political climate at the time.
What do you think the ideals of it are?
Like empathy and compassion, I think that, and
You
like,
think that's a Christianity thing?
I think that like in the New Testament, like that's like what it was ideally supposed, like I think that that's like what the original churches were trying to do.
Yeah.
Because it was all about like, within like your community church, like, if there's someone that is like doesn't have a house or doesn't have food like among you, you're supposed to take care of them and you're supposed to like give up what like instead of hoarding wealth and like comfort, to spread it around you. And like that was like why it was like, and I think it was also radical because it was like, you know, like the Jews and the Gentiles and all of that. Like it wasn't like a preferential group anymore. It was like anyone can
Mhm.
be in the in group, I
Yeah.
guess.
Now imagine that was actually a radical idea.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why there is sometimes this correlation between Christianity and the United States, because when the United States first started, like the whole Constitution, the ideas behind the Bill of Rights and all that, like it all came from like some Christian foundation. In that, for example, free speech, like that and it's just that alone, like how absolute it is here as opposed to other places.
Yeah.
That is something that no other society has ever had, ever. And it now, and like now with all these podcasts, it really starts to show why it's so important, why we should view everybody as the same, as having equal value, as everybody having the spark of the divine. Like there's a reason why you are special, why why you should value yourself and your soul and everyone around you.
Mhm.
And because of that, because you have the spark of the divine, you have certain rights, certain like irreputable rights. One of them being freedom of expression, being able to say what you feel and say what you think, and like as a check against any kind of tyranny.
Mhm.
And but yeah, and so going back to like why like Christianity is such an interesting thing is that it did put everyone on a equal playing field.
Mhm.
Like it's the only one that puts everybody in a equal playing field, and it like that just the radical idea of that really like kind of it has a heavy effect on me, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. Would you say that you're still like, would you consider yourself like religious or like spiritual, or how would you consider yourself?
I would consider myself as someone trying to find it.
Mm.
Like I'm trying to find it.
Like trying to kind of figure out what level of it that you identify with,
Not just
or
identify with, just um like how vulnerable can I be? How can I get there? Because being vulnerable is like one of the hardest things for people in general.
yeah.
And just the idea of having a higher power, especially with like now with how we think about everything, it's hard to think that there is anything like that, because like there's so much suffering and all that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would put myself as just someone who's trying to find it and is starting to feel it based on everyone's like attitude now.
Mm.
Because now, because I think it like there was this like evil like vibe to this whole division thing
Yeah.
that was perpetuating between everybody. That was, splitting people apart, splitting families apart over just, I mean, political differences.
Right.
So now I start feeling this how would you say, this conviction, this feeling that we are obligated to be more, to strive for better, and to be able to speak your mind,
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Would you say like a hope in humanity
Hmm.
in general? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that, I mean, from my perspective, a huge part of that kind of coming together was sparked by, maybe we could consider like a general like moral line of genocide.
Hmm.
Like I think that the whole everything that's happening with Israel, and also I guess the Epstein
Yeah.
files, which is another big moral like in your face kind of. I think that it is heartening to see that like there was a line, you know, where everyone could kind of come together and agree like, okay, yeah, that's fucked up.
Hmm.
Like I don't want that. I don't care what side you're on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't stand for that.
Yeah. And to me, I feel it like a spiritual thing that's happening, because right now, people that you would have never thought that you would agree with ever in a million years,
Totally.
you're starting to
That's how I feel about Candace Owens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to listen to her and be like, oh my God, I hate this.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, every time I see a video of her, I'm like, she's kind of like, just, I agree with everything. No notes. Like, crazy.
Yeah. Super crazy. Did you see that France is trying to assassinate her?
No. What?
Yeah, no, she got a credible alert from someone high and close to President Macron of France that he finalized the order and
like a hit on her
and paid an assassin, a French Guardier or whatever they call it, like someone within the.
Wait, what do they have against her?
She's making the claim that Brigitte is a man.
Oh my God, that's the reason?
Yeah. I mean,
was honestly expecting something.
No. That and the other aspect of it, it's both. The assassins is one is from France and the other one is an Israeli.
Oh well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, but it like right now she like her. I don't know if you've been following her series after like Charlie died, but she's gone on she's on another level right now. Like
Really?
she's fucking.
I mostly see clips of her like every once in a while, and because I never really followed her in the past because I really didn't agree with much that she said. But that's like I keep just seeing more and more clips of her where I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, everything that you're saying I really agree with. So I think that's I think that's cool. Even like Tucker Carlson. I hated him. Like I
a
really,
lot of people.
he was a very polarizing.
I hated his
figure.
face.
Yeah, he has a really punchable face, honestly. But he also said a lot of really polarizing things, like especially in like the first Trump presidency, and honestly, a lot like just most of his career at Fox. And that's another person where I just keep seeing things that he's saying. Like, yeah, that's like I think I guess it just took something that we could all be like, no, that's objectively horrible. Like, that's who is letting this happen.
Yeah.
To where we could all just like rally. And that's why I feel like going back to the whole platform change or, like the political realignment, like I feel like there is like there's something like kind of happening where everyone is like finding something that they can all, for the most part, agree on. And like just like a fundamental like level of humanity, I think.
Yeah. I was telling this to Phil, but I think that the new the political realignment right now I think the populace is what used to be called MAGA, make America great again. I feel like this new coalition that's forming with a large section of MAGA is coming together with this other section of liberal people that you would never thought that you would have ever agree with. So a mixture of MAGA, of MAHA, the Make America Healthy Again, the Robert F. Kennedy coalition.
Okay.
And this other side of the liberal that are also super anti pharmaceutical companies that realize that the food that they're feeding us is poison, that have general distrust of institutions.
Yeah.
Is all coming together to form this new coalition that I think is a real threat to power. And I think this coalition that's forming, it's real and it comes from a real place. And I believe it comes from a spiritual place, that it is gonna, shit's gonna get dangerous.
Like you mean you think
soon.
like actual violent?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you see it now, like with when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, to me that was also a major driver of actually pulling the trigger here to do this.
Really?
To do this podcast.
Wow, I didn't realize like that's what like the timeline aligned like that. So that all happened before you actually started the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah, because Charlie, obviously he has people disagree with him a lot, but he is the guy that would try to reach out. to anybody.
That's what I keep hearing. Sorry. That's what I keep hearing. Like, I never really got into Turning Point or anything like that. And
yeah. I mean, I wasn't
like,
really a whole lot into it. I think most of us really knew Charlie through clips, you know?
yeah, right. And I think I mostly saw clips of him saying really out of pocket shit. Uh, so I didn't really get, but that's like, I keep hearing it, and I have been seeing more and more clips about that, unfortunately, after he passed. But yeah, I think that's I think it is like a really noble thing to aspire to, like just being able. And that's kind of what I alluded to earlier when I was in my echo chamber. Like, I just wasn't able to have conversations with people. Like, my brother and I were on very different political like ends of the spectrum, ends of the political spectrum, I guess. And during COVID, we could not have a conversation without, it always ended up yelling. And we were also kids at that point. Like, we were both teenagers. I mean, I guess, I don't know if I was a teenager, but he was, like, I was a very young adult, you know? And I think that like people get stuck in that. And that's something that, like, I think was like really necessary for my growth as a human, just to be able to have that kind of conversation with anyone and just come at it from a point of curiosity. Like, when you say that, like, the things about like vaccines, like, obviously that's not like my first, like, I don't have like, I have a different perspective, but I value, like, I respect you as a person. I think that you're like, you have really like important and intelligent things to say. And so I want to hear like what, like, okay, this person that I respect thinks of things in a different way. Like, why is that? And like, what do I need to like reevaluate my beliefs based off of that? And I guess it kind of comes back to critical thinking, like that we've talked about before. Yeah.
Yeah, just being open to it. Just
Yeah.
Going back to it's just another human being. And then they got fed some information. You got fed some information, and we all got,
a different piece of the puzzle, honestly.
Yeah, but this new coalition, I feel like, is putting the puzzles together, and I think Candace has a huge part to play in it. Tucker Carlson has a huge part to play in it. Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks has a huge part to play in it. Megyn Kelly has a huge part to play in it. Like, these are the people that are, like, especially Megyn Kelly, because she's still pro-Israel. She's still on that side of it. But there is this, like, the pro-Israel faction of it. They're going after her.
Really?
Like, hard. And she won't disavow Tucker, and she won't disavow Candace, even though they're super anti.
Oh, wow.
Right?
So she's kind of, I guess, making her own little statement in just by doing that.
Yeah.
That's been like I think that's also something that's really like just a red flag for me, when people are so like, if institutions are so quick to like blacklist someone. I mean, it's kind of like what were those called? Like the trials that happened. It was almost like the witch trials. Like, that's what the Arthur Miller wrote, The Crucible, kind of loosely based off of that. But like the whole, like, to make sure no one was a communist back during that time, like they just like blacklisted tons of celebrities and stuff. Like, that to me is like really like for sure a red flag in a government when or like when institutions, even if it's not specifically the government, but institutions like aligned and like working and giving money to the government, like that's just like, no matter it, because that's like, it goes against the freedom of speech that you're talking about. Like, if like theoretically everyone should be able to say what they want to say, and so if you're like essentially censoring someone by blacklisting them, like why is that?
By assassinating their character.
Yeah, like what are you hiding? You know?
Yeah. No, like, I think we're all getting wiser to this, because character assassination is also like a new concept for a lot of people.
Yeah, like the cancel culture. Like, I think it all kind of goes hand in hand with that. Like that, I mean, I guess it's like there are different ends of like the same. Like, I feel like there's like some crossover. There's like a little bit of difference, I think, in that. But yeah, like, I mean, the whole world of social media is like, I think we're finally getting wiser on it. And like, it was a huge learning curve because it was just growing so and changing so quickly. I mean, even like the AI stuff, like I'm gonna out my mom, but she like there were a couple times where she sent my brother, like she sent me a video of Bad Bunny speaking in English, like perfect English, and I was like, Mom, this is definitely AI. Like he does not sound like this when he's speaking in English. And I was like, it's like a great video, you know. It's like I wish he said that, but like he didn't say this. And like that's like it's just one of those things where like especially like that generation, and I mean even our generation for until recently, like we thought if it was a video, it can't be tampered with, you know, like that if it's a video, it's real evidence, you know. But there's just so much that we're like getting wiser to, just little by little.
Yeah, social media is like a double-edged sword.
For sure.
Yeah, it gives a lot of misinformation, but it also gives the opportunity for truth to sprout in different ways.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that like during like COVID and like when like the whole like mainstream media like fear mongering trend kind of, and I don't even know that it was fear mongering, I guess, but like but that like when that trend like against mainstream media was happening, it was mostly like MAGA, I think, that was kind of championing that for a while. And I think that, I mean, it was a little bit misguided because they were also listening to Fox, which is part of mainstream media, in my opinion. But
yeah, no,
like,
it's 100%. No, Fox is also, it's as guilty as all the other ones.
Right. But I kind of like dismissed it for a long time. But I do think, especially now that like all of the things that we're seeing, I'm like, oh, they actually had like, and that's another thing where I'm like, if I had stopped to listen to the actual genuine concerns, maybe I would have gotten to this point a little bit sooner. But at that point, I wasn't really open to like, to having a true dialogue with other people.
Yeah.
That didn't agree with me.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are still like at that edge, you know? And that edge is kind of scary, you know, trying to actually communicate with people, you know, that are going to disagree with you, but you're just trying to be real with them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't even know, like, if my mom, like, listened to, I think my mom is actually, she's the one who taught me critical thinking, honestly. Like, she used to be a really big Republican, and now she's, like, much more left-leaning, I would say. But I would say, like, maybe the people that I, like, know from college and stuff would maybe be like, there are certain things that I said in this podcast where they'd be like, what the fuck? Is she like a MAGA person now?
Yeah.
And like, I definitely, yeah. I'm like, I think, but it's also like, I mean, it's what I think is true. And like, again, I'm open to anyone who is hearing this. You can,
Yeah.
I'm open for a conversation.
I mean, there is
I'm
a
open
lot
to change my ideas.
There's a lot of confusion out there, because I started hearing people saying that everybody has a different truth. You know, that started going around, and it has a good ring to it, and it sounds, you know, like philosophical. It sounds deep, right? Like your truth is different than mine.
Yeah.
But I think we're confusing truth with perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Because, yeah, I mean, I think that that's like the value of there's definitely value from different perspectives. And that's like I think that's what's so cool about having like a multicultural nation is all of the different perspectives that you get. But yeah, like that, I mean, it doesn't change the reality of things, I guess.
And that's the thing, is that we should try to achieve to, like, the goal is more cohesion, not less, right?
Yeah.
Like there's less chaos, not more.
Yeah.
And I think that's like that's central to a lot of the things that are going on here in the United States, especially with things like well, just political divides, but then like the immigration issue. To me, that's the one issue I've always been torn with. Like it has literally, it feels
Really?
like I feel that one, man. Like it really gets to me, because I'm torn on, because I can see both sides now.
Yeah.
And both sides are, it gets real complicated real quick. but I don't think not talking about it is going to help anything.
Right. Yeah, I think that one of my least favorite things that people say is agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
sounds nice it's kind of like we all have our own truth. It sounds nice on the surface, but in the end, like, you're not getting anywhere. It's like you're just kind of staying in that spot that, like, they want you to be at, where you just don't make any progress, and you're just kind of stuck in that complacency of, like, not, because I think we can all agree that the way things are now with immigration and with a lot of things is not okay. Like, we need a change, and
Mm-hmm.
it's more of the agreeing on what the appropriate and just change is.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we can't figure it out because we're so divided and confused, uh, the more that the people who want it like that just benefit.
Yeah. What do you think would be a viable solution? Like what?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the problem is, and what do you think a viable solution might be?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think that that's one of those things, like that, and like the homeless issue in the country is like, those are two of the biggest things that like haunt me a little bit in my head of like, I have no idea like what the solution is. All I know is that it's fucked up, like what's happening. And like, I don't really see, I mean, I think that, I don't know, it's hard because it, I'm not the most educated on like what other countries do for immigration. Like, it seems like, for example, in Europe, it's very simple to be able to like move within. I mean, I'm considering it as like we're all like the same continent, So, uh, it within Europe, there's a lot of like freedom of movement because it's like the European Union and everything. But I don't really see that in like the continents of America, and I don't really understand fully why that is. Um, and I think that one of the biggest issues is that, like, the amount of time that it takes to get, like when people do apply the right way,
Mm-hmm.
like, you can wait a decade with no movement on your case. And, like, what are you supposed to do in that case? And I think that, like, I do think that a lot of it is, like, a lack of, and maybe I have too much empathy for like to be in like a situation where like I know that at a certain level when you're in power and you're thinking about the best for everyone, you have to sometimes compromise. Uh like for me, I could never be in that position because I'm not good at like compromising on that level. Like I'm always going to think about like the person that the one life that I'm fucking up to, like, at the expense of like, the thousands or millions of people that it's like helping. So I'm not trying to say that it's like a simple solution, but I do think that there isn't enough like compassion and empathy involved in the situations. Like, even when there was like the whole issue of like like what was like the big caravan, like however many, that was like quite a while ago at this point, but like everyone was really upsetted and like freaked out about like why would they be taking their kids in like this caravan and like putting them like going to the border knowing that like they're not going to get in and all of these things. But like I don't feel like there were not that many people that I heard like asking themselves like, what are these people like I feel like these people aren't dumb. Like, they know that there's a lot of things that could happen to them along the way, and they could get rejected at the border. There's so many like things that could happen, but like what to them, like, this is the best choice. And like, what are they choosing that over? And I think that that's the thing that is like, people don't put themselves in one another's shoes as much as they maybe should. Um, and I feel like that's like, we lose like the humanity of like, what are you like trying to like get your family out of? What are you trying to like escape from that is like, this feels like your best option, you know? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that is like, I feel like it's not easy. The system is not set up in a way that it's easy enough for like people who genuinely just want to like better themselves, get out of a really dangerous position, or like even just a position that's not going anywhere. Like it's not set up enough to like allow those people to like be successful in that, you know, unless they come in illegally.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about whether or not they should be encouraged to assimilate?
That's a good question. I think that, I mean, technically the US doesn't have an official language, which I think is a really like, I think a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that until I was like an adult, I think.
Yeah.
And
I actually heard that from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
really,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, like I think that, I mean, whether the US decides to change that or not is like not really like that is kind of beside the point, I guess. But like, I do think that it is, I don't know. I think that a lot of really successful countries are multilingual. And I think for me particularly, I feel like language is really important. Like what you were saying, like you don't feel like you can fully express yourself in the way that like you want to in Spanish. Like I think for me, like learning languages is like how I feel like I connect with people. And I think that being able, not only is it just like really good for your brain and stuff, like to be multilingual, but like I think that it's like a way that like a respect thing for me, and like being able to like I don't think that I could.
Respect in what?
Oh, like I guess just like a really deep form of respect for me is like just being able to like to be like, hey, I respect you so much that I like want to like understand you in your language, you know? And I'm not saying that it's disrespectful to not learn a language, but for me, that's like a really high form of like when I respect someone a lot, I want to like understand them the way that I feel like is like the deepest way to understand them, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense to me, because obviously, if you see someone really trying to learn your language, you have a deep sense of appreciation for that, because you're trying to communicate with them, and they're really putting the effort to try to communicate with you.
Right. Yeah.
And but I think like I don't think the attitude for a lot of immigrants is to try to learn English.
I think I think it depends, because I mean like Juanes and his sister, like they were like really, really like they still like his sister especially is really, really like hard on herself about like she speaks perfect English, but she has an accent, which I mean, I think that like you have to have a really extreme like level of like language coaching to not have an accent in a language that you learned as an adult. Like that's just like it's impossible for like the average person, unless you're like an actor or something that's like practicing that. But like people like will give her a hard time about like having a slight accent when she says words, and like in her job, like people will be disrespectful to her just because like she's speaking English to them, and they're like giving her a hard time over like the way that she said a word, and they
Shout out Carla. I make fun of her all the time.
It's okay. I make fun of Juanes. But also, like, you know, you probably wouldn't do that to like someone, like a coworker. Well, maybe you would. I don't know.
I don't know. Work is a different jungle sometimes.
Yeah. Her, I feel like in Diana's situation, shout out Diana. I don't think that she's going to watch this, but.
Shout out.
But like in her situation, it's like, I feel like it's really like, it's not like her friends being like funny to her, you know, it's like, it's her genuinely trying to work hard, and like some old white guy who doesn't know any other language than English being like, you said that word weird. Like, and I think that, but also like, I mean, like their mom still like doesn't know English. And I do think that that's part of like, she's very smart and she probably could have learned it at this point. Like, I understand that it's like harder like the older you get, the harder it is. But she also lives with her daughter who speaks fluent English, and like her daughter does like pretty much everything for her. And she just kind of doesn't really like English that much.
Yeah.
And so there is like it's definitely a spectrum, I think. And I think but I do think that the respect goes, it's like a mutual respect that I think that everyone should be more like open, I guess, to like learning more languages. I just think that like the whole country, like the country as a whole would benefit from like people in Europe speak like minimum of 2 languages usually. And I think that that's really cool. Like it opens up a lot of like business opportunities, trade opportunities, like,
Mhm.
and just in general, like your your brain is like better for it.
Yeah.
So I think that but I also know that that's kind of like a random ass opinion from like most people like are
No,
not
because
thinking
I
about
mean
that type of stuff.
that's how they that's how you can it's a positive way of looking at it, right?
Mhm.
Um, but something that's been like I've been trying to mull over in my mind is like, do we do appreciate diversity, but do we appreciate diversity over cultural cohesion? Like,
Mm.
if you visit Italy, do you want to do you want that to feel different than if you were to visit London? Like how
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like the
Italy,
globalization, like at what point are you just gonna like lose the specialness of like individual cultures
yeah,
kind of?
of those people's culture, of the people that have generationally been there. Like
Yeah.
I think it is important to like if you are going to have a family, then you should not just thinking about like your immediate children, but your grandchildren and the grandchildren after that. Like um, that is something that I think is a good thing to strive for, is to make sure that you not just live your life while you're here, but try to build something for the people that are in front of you.
Yeah.
And if there are like I appreciate people that are proud to be Italian and people that are proud to be French or proud to be Chinese. Proud there's a lot of Mexican pride.
Yeah.
That it's a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Like the Mexican being like feeling the pride of being Mexican, like you feel that shit. Like it is a beautiful thing, but like that's the thing I'm trying to find here in America. Like where is our American pride at? Like
Yeah.
where are we gonna find that? And I guess what worries me, if we don't find a way to assimilate with each other, then that's just gonna make it so much harder to be able to find what it is that connects me and you and person from Oregon
Yeah.
to stay and fight for each other.
That's honestly a really good, I mean, I've never heard that perspective before, but it really does make sense. Like that lack of cohesion and it really is like it makes a big difference. Like I feel that. I felt that since I was a kid. Like I don't think that I ever really felt um like, I mean, like I've asked one is like, what do you think American culture is? Like what do people from outside the US think of like US culture? And it's like, Hollywood and like I don't know, Times Square and like things like that like there's some people who, live in New York or in LA or something and they do get those type of like they maybe relate to that as American culture more, but there's a shit ton of people who don't live they live in all the places in between and like what unites them to like American culture.
Yeah, that's what I need to I feel like that's missing in my heart right now.
Yeah, like what you need
Like
to
what is my Nash like what is it that connects the people around me? You
yeah.
know? Because it is fun. It is fun to be able to like let's say a national sport like in India, like they have cricket.
Yeah.
The
Oh my
cricket
god.
is a
I think about that
huge thing.
all the time where like whenever when Copa America was happening, or like World Cup, I mean, is coming up, and I was just thinking about, like, I mean, I think that people kind of get into like the Olympics in the US, but like I think it's just like all of our US sports, like there's no, like, it's everyone has their own specific team, that they root for within the US. And so there's no, like, when the US goes to the World Cup, for example, like, people don't really care. Like in
Yeah.
other countries where like that is like their team. Like everyone, like in Colombia, like they literally everyone got, like, the president declared like all of, like, everything was like shut down when they made it to the finals of Copa
Oh,
America.
shit.
Like everyone was off work just to watch the game. And I mean, I guess maybe, I don't know. There's probably some people who were working because, like, probably at bars and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that sucks for them. But they at least got to watch the game,
Yeah.
But, like, I just can't think of something that really unites the U.S., like, everyone to that level. We don't have, because even, like, baseball is, like, America's pastime or whatever. But, like, we're, like, the only country that plays that.
Japan.
That's true. That's true.
Japan is so into baseball. It's
But then that's only 2 countries. Like,
yeah, I know, but like they're so into it that it's beautiful,
yeah.
Like their whole like the way that most the nations get together and feel the fervor for their soccer team.
That's them for
That's them for
baseball.
baseball. They like it. If you ever see a video of a Japanese stadium during just a regular baseball game, you feel the energy. It's fun.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I think here in the U.S., I am jealous of people that are really into sports.
Yeah, me
I'm not.
too.
I
Especially
can't.
football, like American football. I never got into it, but I feel like that's like a huge thing. Like my brother and my uncle and my cousin, they're all really into football, and my brother will just go over to my uncle's house like for the whole day, and they will just be watching football, and I can't do it.
Mm,
Like it just, I've never been into it like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. There's so much more important things are happening
Yeah.
in the world that really just I feel like need my attention. At
Right.
least that's where my attention is being drawn, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to go off of like going back to this whole faith thing is like going for whatever it is I'm trying to let myself to.
Mhm.
Because a lot of us try to do this like planning, this 10-year plan. At this point, I'm going to do this. At this point, I'm going to do that. It's like, that's good. That's actually really good. That's preferable. Oh, dude, especially for people who don't like really plan with their finances and just really don't know how to budget. And like, that is a huge, huge, huge problem here.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that scares the shit out of me. Scares the shit. Have you ever thought about money?
Yeah, I don't. That's one of the things that like is probably one of the things that like is like my main. I like, to me, money is like we're not backed up in gold anymore. So it's literally just a social construct. And the thing that,
Not a social construct. It's enforced with the military.
well, yeah, that's true. That's a really good
Yeah.
point. But like to me, like I don't know if it will ever make sense in my mind why so many people have tried to explain to me, and I just, like, I feel like we should be able to print money and have inflation not happen because it's a construct, and we choose to make it like this. So we could choose to make it not have inflation and just make everybody happy. But I guess the last time I like Juan is like tried to explain it, and he was like, but then everyone in the whole world would have to like adjust. And I was like, but yeah, everyone would be happier. And I think that's the main thing, is that like it's just like capitalism that keeps us from being able to do that. But money pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah, money's a funny thing. But it's like money, the Federal Reserve, what they do is they just create debt. They just create numbers in a computer.
Yeah.
And how I see money is that it is just that. It's just numbers in a computer.
Right.
It gives you an amount of purchasing power, But if that purchasing power is diminished by the increase of the products that you're trying to buy, then that purchasing power reduces itself.
Right.
Right. So if $20 don't, they're not worth $20 anymore. I mean, if $20 can't buy you a CD or something, and now CDs cost $40, then the way of making that disc, that like what happened there? Like why did it increase?
Yeah.
So the way I see it is whenever they print money, whenever they do that, it's not real because it doesn't bring any value. Like it doesn't bring any value to anybody. They didn't create anything. It just made numbers.
Yeah.
And if they make numbers, then it makes the people who immediately get like the credit or the debt that they just printed, they have real power. They have real purchasing power to be able to like distribute that in a very, very like effective way. It's like buying a banana for $5 when it really costs $30 or whatever. I guess this is such a, it can make numbers, then it makes the people who immediately get like the credit or the debt that they just printed, they have real power. They have real purchasing power to be able to like distribute that in a very, very like effective way. It's like buying a banana for $5 when it really costs $30 or whatever. I guess this is such a, it's hard to, it's a hard concept because I still struggle with it every day trying to really think about it. But it's like if you were in an island and everybody on that island was paid $10 a month, and the whole economy around that is just based on knowing that everybody is only going to get $10 a month. What the Federal Reserve does is that, let's say everybody is making $10 a month, but these people at the Federal Reserve, they just introduced an extra $20 that's split between two guys. So now those two guys are making $20 a month.
Right.
Not because they did anything, not because they created anything, but it's just because whatever their version of the Federal Reserve just created 20 extra dollars, and it was split between two people. So those two people, they now have $20 of spending power, where everybody else has 10. Now the whole economy, all the goods are based on everybody making $10 a month. But these people, they have 20. So their purchasing power doubled.
Right.
So they are like literally double. They have double the amount of resources, a double amount of influence over all the people around them. And eventually it'll get to those people because they're going to spend their $20 on different things. And let's say they never get another, like they die or something. That extra $10 was introduced into the money system.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like the trickle down effect, which is like, I think that maybe it works to a certain extent, but like,
No. I'm saying that I don't think it works at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
No,
agree.
I don't think
like,
yeah.
Because I mean, it's like the whole, like the wealth just gets hoarded.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's introduced into the economy, but it ends up in the same.
Yeah.
Like that is like, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I think it's the root of all evil. Like the Federal Reserve, to me, is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Because right now, nothing is based on anything. It's based on the dollar. It's based on, if you don't use the dollar, we'll fucking regime change you, man.
Yeah.
That, and we have this partnership with Saudi that all their oil is going to be sold in dollars, and it gives that validity to it across the world. Now, the reason that the U.S. government or the Federal Reserve is able to print or create so much more money without like really feeling the consequences here in the United States is because since the dollar is so globalized, inflation goes up globally. It doesn't go up just in the U.S. And that's why we're not like everyday people. A lot of people are feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are feeling it. And the next generation is going to feel it the hardest because the next generation is not going to be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
It's hard to buy a house now.
Yeah.
Like
I
you're
was
lucky if
like,
you are able to find anything now that you
right.
can afford and can actually build a home.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of to your point from when you were talking with Juan, is like was such a big part of the American dream. And that's like really shifting like what people think of as like their goals in life. Like there's so many people, like myself included, like I don't know if I'll be able to. I mean, I think I will probably be able to buy a house, but like, do I even want to? Like, is like that's such a big amount. Like before, it was such a different amount of your overall wealth that like it wasn't such an extreme to buy a house. But now it's like so much of your wealth and income is put to that you're like, okay, well, what are the other things that I could do? Like I could also like travel, and like I could, there's like, do I want to have to pay like an exorbitant amount of money for repairs in my house versus like renting and having someone else have to be in charge of that? Like it's just so like it's definitely like this generation, and I agree, like this next generation is gonna feel it probably even more because it's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a lot, like everything about what's going on in the economy is just like, uh yeah, like it's everything is so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. People are fiending for a rebellion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But that's why I feel so like I don't feel too hot that the U.S. is going to be a country in the next like 20 years or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that actually reminds me of something that you said earlier of like the different societies and the across time, and like what makes us different from any of the other ones, and like, yeah, like what is to say that like, the US society is like, cuz I mean, like with Rome and stuff, it was like such a big empire, and then it just, I mean, there were a lot of huge empires that just kind
Hmm.
of
Yeah,
like
where
fell.
Rome gets where I mean the Roman Empire gets correlated to the United States Empire a lot.
Yeah, and it
Like, and it's very prophetic because Rome was in the same position that kind of how we are, like as a global hegemon. Well, actually, no, because they weren't a global hegemon. They were in charge of their area right there. But like the U.S. isn't like they are large and in charge around the world.
mhm. Yeah.
So it so much power that it boggles the mind of anybody back in the day.
Yeah.
They conquered the world. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, like the level of globalization
Mm-hmm.
uh is just like really insane.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it definitely, I mean, I don't know. I guess I wish that it makes me want to get more into history and seeing like the patterns of the rises and falls of civilizations
Yeah,
because
the rise and fall of the Roman Empire is a really really great. Like if you just want to give like a one-to-one type of analogy, like that one
mhm.
is an amazing um thing like thing to correlate with.
Is that what makes you think uh that like we're not long, like the US empire uh
Well, I mean,
is not
not
long
just
for the
that.
world?
It's that like the lack of the American identity, the lack of cohesion here on our soil, that coupled with the world hates us,
Mm,
coupled with we are we are losing power at a rapid rate. Russia is on the up, China is on the up, and we're on the down.
yeah.
So those are three things, and then the fourth one is our involvement with Israel.
Yeah, because there's only a matter of time, I feel. I mean, I guess hopefully, I guess using other like atrocities in the past as an example, like there is only a matter of time before there's like comeuppance that happens, like
Mm-hmm.
with Germany, like they were able to get away with it, but only for a certain amount of time,
Get
you
away
know.
with what?
Oh, like the Holocaust, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I guess there's,
I mean, it
there
took a
is.
world war to...
Right, yeah, that's the thing, and, like, there is definitely, there have been genocides in Africa, for example, that I don't think were ever really, like, they kind of went unanswered,
the
and just
Christians are dying by the hundreds every day in
well, and, like,
Africa.
the Hutus and the Tutsis, like, that whole genocide, I forget what country that was in, sorry, but, like, yeah, there's, I think that it's just, like, I guess I like to think that what is happening in Israel will be, like, someone will eventually have to, like, pay up, so to speak, for it just because of how big of a scale, like,
Yeah.
everyone in the world essentially knows about it, but
Yeah, and
I
I
don't
think it's going to
know.
be us. And
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's going to be a huge part of our downfall. Not only
Yeah.
that, but because it's not just the immigration factor. Like, if there is a lack of cohesion between Latin American immigrants, Muslim immigrants, just immigrants, Chinese immigrants, if there's a lack of cohesion between these different types of groups and the people that are indigenous here, at least a few generations indigenous, then there's not going to be a hope at all that we're gonna come through this without a whole lot of violence.
Yeah.
And well, I would love to avoid that, and I
Yeah.
would love to avoid that for like the generation that's coming up, the children that we hope to bring up. And I think if, like, right now, as we're talking about all this, like, political realignment, this is why I feel like it's a spiritual battle, because the consequences are very dire.
Mm.
And if it is that all this is coming together at the right time, I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited to share that perspective with people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, I think that, um, yeah, I feel like I'm not as, like, clear. I guess it doesn't, I guess you were saying you're not as clear about, like, everything that, with, like, spiritual and religious kind of with all of that. But I would say, like, I definitely feel, I would I wouldn't say that I am, like, I'm very spiritual, I think. And I think I just have a difficulty with, like organized religion and, like, putting the name to it. Like, I'm not really big on, like, the any of, like, putting the, like, Jesus or, like, any of, like, the organized religion names to it, I guess. But
Hmm.
I do think that there is, uh like, we're not just here, like, there's definitely, I like to think of it more of, like, the universe. I don't really know, like, exactly, like, what specifically I believe, but I do think that, especially in nature, there's, like, a lot of spirituality in my, that's kind of what I went to school for, was ecology. And, like, like, I feel really connected to nature in a lot of different ways. And I think that the earth and the universe are, like, that's what I feel like the most spiritually connected to. But I think that that's also, like, I think that when people can, even what you're saying about food, like, that aspect of, like, that realignment is, like, going back to, like, our connection with the earth. And, like, instead of making our food in a lab, like, getting it out of the ground,
Hmm.
and, like, going back to, like, that, like, level of, like, spiritual connection of just, like, I don't know, like, it's like the meme of, like, go touch grass. But I really do think that that's, like, a it's a thing that is important, like, to just be able to, like, reconnect with what's actually going on, like, right in front of us. And almost, like, going against the pull of globalization is, I think, what is, like, the maybe the revolution that is happening, is, like, being more community minded and, like, the people that are directly around us, rather than just thinking so globally all the time. Because I really do think, like, we're not meant to, as humans, like, be thinking about every single thing that's happening around the globe at all times. Like,
Hmm.
we're just not, we don't have the brain capacity to
Yeah,
do that. We're not meant to be thinking about all of that at all times.
yeah. This is why I think being able to purchase a home is such an important thing, because once you own property, you're like invested in the success
Of the
of what of
community.
what's around that
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think, like, I don't think a whole lot of people value like voting a whole lot,
Mhm.
or like their right to vote. And I think that plays a huge part in why there's so much dysfunction, because they're able to leverage what what they term the low information voter, just based on feeling and
Yeah.
um, rhetoric, and
Yeah.
that type of stuff. So I don't know, but I do hope that more people do have the opportunity to purchase property, so that they feel like they have skin in the game,
Yeah.
you know? Because if you don't feel like you have skin in the game for like your home, the plot of land where you put your family in, where you're gonna hope to have generations, and it it does do something to you. It does make you worry about everything else.
Mhm.
It does make you politically active, because
Mhm.
that's the thing. Being politically um, aware is not something that's really been taught to us as a virtue. Being civically responsible
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
to actually learn like why that stuff is important, why
Yeah.
that should be important to us.
Yeah. I think for sure. Like I think it's really interesting. I actually just met someone recently who she has a really good job. Right now she works from home in, I don't know, like tech or something like that. But she's actually going back to school to become a librarian because she was like she started um volunteering at her local library and was so drawn to like the community aspect of it that she decided that she wants to go back to school and become like work there full time and be a librarian because like that aspect of like community. And I honestly hadn't thought about a library in years until I had that conversation with her, but I feel like that's something that it's like those little aspects of like the like civic awareness and like those things. Like I mean, libraries are cool. Like I feel like libraries are like I used to go there all the time when I was in high school and like I would like or rent. I would like get like like you can like reserve a
Check
space
out.
to
Yeah, yeah.
study and like I would have like
Oh
study
yeah,
groups with my friends and stuff. And I really just kind of stopped thinking about libraries for a long time. But it's
yeah.
like those little things that like they've been there, but I think especially with how things are going and globalization and like the large scale thinking that we're at, like people don't think about like those things anymore. Like
Hmm.
what's actually in their community within like, I don't know, a 20-mile radius or whatever.
Yeah, we take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just like I don't even know if people use libraries at all, like,
Yeah.
if they even take it for granted or not, like, I mean, we have, like, streaming services and things like that that, like, people use instead,
Hmm.
kind of, but, yeah, I think that it's, like, those little things, like I guess going back to, like, the simpler things in a certain sense, like you were saying, like, having property and, like, growing food and thinking about things in, like, a I guess it's, like, kind of going full circle in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, but it that kind of gives you a little view of the people that are super like pro deportation and trying to get like all these people that don't feel a connection here, that are here to use this as an economic engine to ultimately leave. It like that breaks my heart a little bit,
Which aspect?
that people come here to make money, to ultimately spend it and die in their homeland or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it feels it, I don't know. I have a hard time trying to find a positive way to think about that. Because that is a real feeling between a lot of people here. Like it's a real visceral feeling for people who, especially those types of people that were in like let's say Detroit. Detroit was the Detroit was beautiful at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like like GM, Chrysler, Ford, they were all there.
Yeah.
Not only that, they were growing and putting factories in other places. Like they were real, like they were actually really good jobs because they produced something that was able to afford to pay everybody
Yeah. Like
like a
Tesla.
like a really good wage like that, and not only a really good wage, but it was actually a fulfilling job
Mm-hmm.
because there is a lot of pride in driving a Ford. There's a lot of pride in driving a Chevy. There's a lot of pride in like what you do at Tesla, like, and there's a lot of pride in like the difficulty of the job,
Mm-hmm.
because it's complex, it's hard, there's a lot of labor that goes into it, but you see the finished product of the thing, and you get paid well enough to be able to purchase a home and start a family. Like I think a, a lot of people were very happy during those times, and like the middle class was
Yeah.
huge.
Right.
It was huge. The middle
Like
class
truly the middle.
made the middle class was the biggest group in the United States for a long time.
Right.
And that's what kind of made everybody want to come here, because they're like, holy shit, they figure something out over there, you
Right. Like
know?
if that's the middle of the road, like that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made the shining city on a hill. Like it was it was awesome. There was real productivity. There was real growth in people, because like in being in a manufacturing facility, it forces you to learn how things work,
Mhm.
everyday things, not just at work, but even here at the house, how to maintain your house, how to not need to pay for someone to come fix your
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
you just kind of intrinsically know how.
For sure.
But to go from that to all of the factories left, and everybody went from like a healthy living to now pure poverty,
Yeah.
like entirely decimated.
Mm-hmm.
And that situation, like times many more all over the US, where they had these types of jobs and it got sent to China or
Mm-hmm.
it got sent somewhere else. Now we just get everything shipped in.
Yeah. 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 So I guess because I'm curious more about like what, because you were saying that uh talking about people who will come work in the US and with the end goal of like going back to their home country. Like I guess I'm curious because when you say that, it doesn't really evoke like an emotional response to me. So I'm curious like what it is about that, like to understand more your perspective about like what that is that bothers you.
Because going back to what worries me the most is the cohesion of the people that live here.
Right.
If you don't feel like you're invested in here,
Mm-hmm.
then like I would prefer that people that are invested in here are like get the fruits of those labors,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I guess, do you feel like there's uh, like that amount of people that like it's that significant of a percentage, I guess, if you will, of like the people who are coming to the US that like it would make a really big, I guess, because I do think that there's a lot of people who come here with the intent of like making a life here as
Yeah,
well.
and
So
if
I'm
you
really
are,
curious.
then you should really like that's beautiful. Like that's amazing. Especially if you came here to, for a better life for your kids, and now your kids are gonna go out in the world and contribute to their identity, to because they were born here, so they are American. They
Mm-hmm.
are an American citizen by birth. Like that is their birthright, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that they can make something of themselves. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is a beautiful thing. But if you just come here to like not do that, like have your generation in a different country. Like, you're not invested in here, then I don't see why you should have special treatment over someone that does want to invest in here.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess what would be like the special treatment? I guess like just like being able to be
Hmm.
in the US. I
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I do feel like it's a privilege to live here,
Mhm.
like 100%. Like, I definitely feel very like lucky, like cosmically lucky that I cannot believe that I was born in the United States of America. Not only just born in the United States of America, but in a sense kind of got raised in the golden era. Like, it was a cool time between 1996, other than 9/11. Between 1996 and 2007, like, it was a pretty legit awesome, like, just awesome time. Like I said, going back to being able to have family gatherings pretty much every weekend,
Yeah.
and growing up with a family, like a family that you felt connected to.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. Up until 2007, when everything went to shit over the recession
Yeah.
and all that. Now that seems farther away than closer,
Mhm.
I think. And like, going back to the cohesion thing, if I don't feel comfortable like talking to my neighbor because he doesn't like me for some reason, and not only that, I don't know his language because I don't know, he speaks like Chinese or Hindu or something. Is that a language?
Yeah.
Hindu?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then that I hope eventually, like, we become friends or whatever, but
It makes it harder.
it makes it real hard, yeah.
Mhm.
As opposed to growing up with your friends, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that is a beautiful thing if you're able to grow up with your friends through elementary school, high school, and then eventually go on to college and maybe work in different industries, but you have these friends that are legit ride or die because you grew up with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't yeah, I guess I have a few like friends that I genuinely grew up with, like not too many. But I guess I when you're talking about like the like have if your neighbor like doesn't speak the same language as you and stuff, like I agree that it can I guess I'm chronically like looking for the good in people, so I'm like not trying to be like what's the word? Like I'm not trying to like disagree with you everything that you say or anything like that,
No,
but
no, no.
I'm just
Disagree away, actually. That's the whole point.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I was
Yeah.
just thinking about like for example, like Carla's dad. Like I mean, he I'm assuming I mean he speaks Spanish, I'm assuming like in terms of like reading and writing, but like he wasn't able like even though everyone at the wedding like spoke a lot of people I guess spoke Spanish or like he
Hmm.
couldn't really like in like really truly talk to anyone unless they spoke like Mexican sign language like Carla,
Hmm.
but he somehow still like managed to make a connection with like
Oh, yeah.
pretty
No,
much
dude,
anyone.
he is a lot. He's a spark.
Yeah.
He knows how to socialize no matter
He's
what.
one of those people that like I will probably never forget in like
Hmm.
my whole life. Like he's just like one of those people that makes a huge difference. And I think that I guess again, like not everyone is like that and there's a lot of people who are just content to never make those connections with people, but I do think that that's like proof that we can make connections like even if we across all cultures, language barriers, and things like that. Like, if we could all just be like a little bit more like that, it wouldn't even matter that like we're coming from a different perspective, you know, or like a different like background.
Hmm.
If we just cared more about like people and connection, you know,
Yeah.
and had that like same, like at least a little part of that spark, you know? And I think that that's like, I guess that's like what I like aim to do. Like I am really obsessed with learning languages. Like I learned Spanish, I'm learning Portuguese right now. And like I don't want to stop with that. Like I want to keep learning languages because I just want to be able to like talk to anyone, you know. But I don't think that like the reality is like that's not like there's a lot of people like that are not gonna take the time to do that because they have other shit to do, you know? They're not like, I'm just a nerd that likes languages and it like is fun to me, but like not everyone is like down to hyper focus on language learning or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that
Anyone's down to hyper focus on anything.
that's true. Yeah.
Hard to just, read a book.
Yeah.
That's already a huge obstacle.
That's a really good, like, that's another thing that like makes me think about like what happened, between like, the golden age that you were talking about and like now, because I was so like, that was like my punishment as a kid. Like I was so into reading. My mom would like take away my books as a punishment. And that was enough for me to like really like it, like I wasn't really a big screen. Like my mom didn't really let us use screens a lot. Not that we had, it was like more like, I guess TV, like it was like very like limited. But like that was the main thing is like books for me. And then something happened between then and like very recently, I just started like reading again. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot I love this. Like this, I used to stay up all night like reading books. And like that happened like this year for the first time in like maybe a decade or more. And I was like, what happened? Like, is my phone that horrible that I like just forgot how to like crack open a book and like enjoy that? And like, cause it just like felt like a lot of work to like start a book.
Yeah.
When that used to be something that I loved to do. Like it would like be exciting to think about starting a book, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. We're very distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very. Which again goes back to why people don't talk anymore.
Yeah. But it also feels like, I mean, people who don't talk and who are distracted are easy to control.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is also why so whenever, like, for example, the immigration issue, whenever you start pitting like immigrants against citizens, it devolves really quickly. But if you go back to, like, if you start having these types of thoughts that it's not like this is being done on purpose, like they're creating this complicated situation so that we can focus on finding each other as opposed to focusing on whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And it does feel that way. Like you feel that hate towards those people, but it's hard to convey that to both sides, especially if they really like have conviction for what they're feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, like you said, like there's a lot of like emotional rhetoric and arguments that are used like specifically towards the people who aren't really doing their like due diligence type of research, like I think a lot of people, I mean, if you're, working to support your family, like, and like maybe have multiple jobs, you don't really have time to, like, there's a lot of people who just truly don't have time to like do their due diligence amount of like research. And so that's kind of what they're being fed is like the emotional rhetoric. It's really hard, like you said, to like find a middle ground with like that type of person or like that person who that's all that they're hearing is like because they're just all that they hear is like fear mongering and like a very specific perspective that isn't necessarily like truth. It's just, because even statistics, like a lot of people like to believe like, numbers, they can't be manipulated, but statistics is like so easily manipulated. Like you have to be, that's actually one of my biggest like things that I'm very passionate about. Like there have been a couple times where one is probably was annoyed at me because he comes home like quoting some sort of like thing. And I'm like, well, okay, first of all, like, is this a peer reviewed study? Has the study been like replicated? If it hasn't been replicated, like we don't really know. And also like a hypothesis can't be proved. It just can't, it can be disproved, but it can't be, you can't prove a hypothesis. It's just like becomes a working theory. And then like
an appeal to authority.
What?
Like an appeal to authority like that. Like this is true because this authority proved it's true.
Yeah, but like even then, like I have a hard time. Like there's certain things like we can say it's proved true, but it again, like data can be so easily like even if it's not done maliciously, like you can it can be like there you can maliciously like manipulate data really easily, but also like if you're just looking for a certain answer, it's really easy to find it. If you're with enough data, you can find whatever you want, like whatever pattern that you want, you know? And I think that that's like the difficulty. I mean, even like I think maybe I'm more like cognizant of it just because of like my field of like original field of study. Like literally while I was in college, they were like teaching us something and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the textbook is wrong. Like we just found out that that's not true anymore." And like like science just moves so quickly and I mean, we like it's crazy to think about like again going back to like vaccines and like food and everything that we put in our body, like we like, I wanna say it's like 90% of DNA is considered like junk to scientists just because we don't understand what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's like like one of the clearest like views of like how I guess like egotistical and like prideful humans are that we're willing to call something junk when we have no idea what it does. It's just like the
Yeah.
ocean, like so much of the ocean is unexplored. Like we have no idea what's down there.
Yeah.
And like we can say, yeah, mermaids aren't real, but like who knows, you know?
Like your point there really reminded me of Anthony Fauci when he would
Mhm.
go up and say like, "Don't question me.
Yeah.
I am the science."
Like during
Yeah.
COVID, I think that also it made a lot of people like lose trust in science and doctors and I think that aided like the
And
anti-vax.
institutions in
Yeah.
general. Yeah.
Because it was like don't wear masks. Like at the beginning, I don't know if you remember, they were like,
Yeah.
don't wear masks. That's
Yeah.
horrible. And then they were like, only wear masks.
Yeah.
And like, that's the problem when because science does work like that. Like, you think something is correct or you think you've proven something, but you can't really truly prove something. Like, you can only disprove something.
Mm-hmm.
And like, at least that's how they kind of like view it in most sciences, I would say. And like, but if you are going up in front of an entire nation and saying, what I'm saying is correct, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, like that, you can't really do that, you know, because you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to like come up. And
You're
maybe
gonna have
it's
to make
not,
the argument.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like, and you have to also like mention that like this is something that is subject to change because we don't know. This is their whole favorite thing that they love to say was these are unprecedented times. I mean,
Yeah.
it was unprecedented and like they didn't know everything and they wanted to come across like they knew everything, but they didn't and they still don't. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing is like we know more, but we still don't know everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that is like that's my major like bone to pick with like the CDC and just in general, like even the FDA, I think so much of it is just bullshit because it's like, well, this is proven to be safe. And like, I mean, even GMOs for that matter, like, yeah, it's proven to be safe now, but how long have we actually been using them?
Yeah.
Not long enough to have like a full, like lifelong study or case study at least for a lot of these things. And like,
That's why RFK resonated with so many people.
yeah, yeah.
Like he was calling out all the bullshit, and because not a lot of people knew about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know anything about it. Really, I had no idea. Like the whole healthcare system. Really, he just kind of threw a whole wrench at it. Like, hey, look how fucked up this shit is,
Yeah.
and it made me um like it really started to make things a lot more clear for me as far as like Congress, Senate, like how government really works
Mm-hmm.
and all that, or politics. Because when RFK got selected for HHS secretary, the people that were the Senate has to vote to confirm him, and it really just irritated me to my core to see Bernie like go hard against him.
Mm-hmm.
Like like a lot of the shit that Bernie like has been preaching all his life is kind of what RFK represents. And
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think is like the main issue with politics at this point, in maybe everywhere, but especially in the US, because that's like where I've always lived, and so that's what I can kind of speak on the best, I guess, or with the most confidence. Is that it's like no matter how much two people have in common, if they're not on the same party or not aligned in like the ways that are like deemed important, they're not gonna, like, there's no compromise, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I think maybe before there was more compromise, but especially now, like, it's just so, like, because I will say there's a lot of stuff that RFK, like, I understand that, like,
well,
he's a
actually, yeah, that's actually interesting. What are the main things that you aren't too
keen on.
yeah.
For me, I think that he has, like, a lot of information on like systems and how things are working on the inside, and that's why he's like appealing to a lot of people, but biologically speaking, he says a lot of misinformation.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, and I do think that he borders on fear-mongering sometimes with like the vaccine stuff, but it's a fine line, you know? And that's the thing, that's the reason why like I'm at least I'm trying to be like not so fast to judge and like as I used to be, I guess, in terms of like, oh, he's full of shit, or you know, like completely like disregarding everything that someone says just because they say one thing that I disagree with, you know?
Mhm.
Um because that can still be like, you don't have to have everything right to have a few good ideas or like something like your overarching goal be, because I do agree that like there's so many issues with like what Americans are putting in their body, and like I think that the that's the part that I think we're missing in like the US politics, is just being able to be like, okay, we agree on this, you know, let's start there.
Mhm.
And instead of just being like, well, we disagree on this,
That
so we
was
can't.
that was a beautiful thing about cuz I was riding hard for RFK, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what was so beautiful was when Trump added RFK to his coalition, especially after all that the Democrats put him through, because he started as a Democratic nominee. Like
Really?
yeah,
I don't think I knew that.
he tried to run for the Democratic nomination, but the Democratic Party, um, they made it impossible for him to continue through the process, because once RFK announced for presidency, he immediately jumped to 10%. And that spooked the people, especially the people that were trying to run Biden.
Yeah.
Like Biden, imagine that Biden versus RFK. Who are you going to choose? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's the
especially
thing.
yeah,
Like,
as
yeah,
for
I,
Democratic
it's
primary. Like that's the whole point.
right.
The name is Democratic. You're supposed to go through the process,
Yeah.
but they didn't do that. They said, hey, this corpse of a man that can't articulate
Right.
a thought is our guy, you know.
Yeah.
And what
And he was the
makes
most like wet blanket of a candidate. Like to me, it felt like he had zero opinions on anything.
mhm,
Like he just was the most run of the mill. Like,
politician.
yeah, like
Yeah.
he did not, like, it was, yeah, like I have so much beef with like
Yeah.
the like Democratic, both parties, honestly. But like,
Mhm.
I mean, I used to think like, yeah, I think I mentioned, like, I was like really like, okay, yeah, I need to be a Democrat to be like on the right side of things. But I just, it's so clear that they're just like, it's whoever they want
Mhm.
and whoever's on the top of it, whoever they is. It's not about, and that's really interesting because I had no idea that that RFK
I mean, his
started
family,
out.
his whole family legacy is all
Right.
about the Democratic Party.
Yeah, so
he used to
it
be an
was really,
environmentalist. Like,
yeah.
Obama considered him as his EPA secretary.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that, yeah, that's so interesting. I feel like that's a major piece of the puzzle that, like, everything about that I knew about him makes so much more sense now that I know that. And it's really, I mean, honestly, if I'm gonna say, like, if there was one point in time that I lost faith in the Democratic Party, it was when I used to love AOC. I thought that she was so awesome. And I still agree with a lot of the things that she says, but I really resonated with the fact that she wanted to do her whole candidacy, or like her, like, running for office without taking money from big corporations. I thought that was like, because I still do think that that's like what the type of politicians that we need.
Yeah, I also think they all say that, though.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, is like, I thought that she was being for real, and I was really excited about that. And I feel like she ran, like, a lot of her campaign was based off of her calling out Trump for his, like, immigration policy and, like, deportations and putting kids in cages and all of that. And then as soon as Biden became president, people were calling him out and being like, there was like an interview that they did where they were like, hey, like, so what are you going to do about the kids in cages? You know, like, what are you going to do about all of these detainment centers that, like, where there's, like, children, like, and I mean, there's all sorts of, like, innocent people that are in, like, those situations, but specifically, like, the issue of, like, I think children is, like, a lot of people can, like, kind of rally behind that. And he, as per usual, he just gave, like, a bullshit nonsense answer, and she stuck behind him on it, and like was like all of a sudden switched up, and I was like, oh, so you're a sellout. And that was like when I was like, wow, okay, that was like the one person that I was like, I feel like she could, like, make a change. And that was like the moment where I was like, okay, they're all the same.
That and hold him back on the whole Israel issue.
Yeah. I mean, that was much later into, like, I had already lost.
No, yeah.
Like, that was the beginning of the Biden presidency that happened. So, like, that I was just like, okay, they're all the same. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they'll say that they didn't accept whatever money, but I think at some point they all do. And
yeah, I recommend people so I mean, there's not a whole lot of politicians that I really care for, but one that has really been catching my eye. Well, there's two, but one well, actually, no, I'll mention both of them because I really like both of them. Is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie.
Okay.
Those two are just because Thomas Massie is the reason the Epstein files got through Congress.
Wow.
Yeah, he went against his own party. Like, Trump wants to. He's primarying him. He's going after him hard.
Right.
But he's the reason.
That's really admirable. I think I'm really curious about, I mean, again, I haven't really, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, it, like, is kind of like the RFK thing for me, where, like, when you say that you really like her, I'm like, wait,
what?
Are we thinking of the same person? So I'm really curious, but I also, like, I haven't actually, like, I think I got a really specific vibe from her. And, well, I mean, not even a vibe, like, based off of things that she said. Like, when I first heard about her, I was like, oh, I do not like this person at all. Yeah. But I'm, like, curious.
She's spicy as fuck. Yeah.
Like, what are the things that, like, what are, like, the things that, like, stand out if you were, like, gonna give, like, your, like, a summary on the things that have, like, or why you respect her?
Well, she's, like, kind of what the ideal version of what, like, the idea of what a representative should be to a district. You know, like, by that I mean the type of candidate that she was. She wasn't some, like, she wasn't elected by I mean, she didn't have the Republican Party behind her, or any kind of, like, established type thing. She is what, because the founders imagined people who run for office shouldn't be running for it because it's a career. Like, it shouldn't be a career. Like, being a representative all your life shouldn't be a career. It's supposed there's
Yeah.
there like we need new ideas in there.
Right.
Like you shouldn't be able to make these
Not old ass
relationships over
decrepit, like senile
time
people.
to make like backroom deals with people
Yeah.
just because they owe you something from 8 years ago. Like that's not the type of like situations that should be happening there. Like elite people should be going into those positions because going into politics, like being a representative for your county or for your district, that used to be viewed as a super noble thing because the people who are able to hold those positions are the people that have been successful in that community enough to
Like gain the
separate
trust.
themselves from their success and donating their time to as a civic duty, doing their time, whether it's like a 2-year term or an 8-year term.
Right.
You know that you're giving up. It's giving up 8 years of your life. You're not doing it for any kind of ambition. You're doing it out of your civic duty. And that's kind of how I view Marjorie Taylor Greene, because she was a very successful like construction, like she owns a construction company and it's extremely successful. But when Trump first decided to come on the scene and he came with this idea of putting America first, putting Americans first, like really just thinking about the homeland as opposed to all these wars that are going around everywhere. She's super anti-war. Because she sees that like all the destruction that and all the debt that all that shit has brought to us.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of like politically activated her. So she decided to step away from her business that was successful to stop running it and donate her time to be a U.S. congressman or a congresswoman. And not only that, use her own money to be able to run her campaign.
Wow.
Because she was anti-establishment, like 100%. She was not like old school type Republican. She's not like a Mitch McConnell or anything like that.
Right.
She hates Mitch McConnell.
Honestly, same.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So she gets in there and then she is there she's there to go in and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Which is what she was a driving force and another reason why the Epstein files got passed, because of her like perseverance for the project.
Yeah.
Because Trump really pressured her hard. Do not vote for this. Do not support this. And she said, "Fuck that." Like,
yeah, I feel like I need to like almost like reinvestigate all of these people that I kind of originally had written off because of this kind of like realignment that's happening, because I feel like I didn't really like none of that stuff that you just listed off was like even something that like I never knew or cared to know about those aspects, like because I do think that is really noble, like being able to like run without big business help and like without being kind of like a pawn for lobbyists and PACs and things like that.
she
But
put a sign outside her office and said, "No foreign lobbyists are allowed." Like that was meant for
really,
APAC.
yeah,
Like that was a big fuck. That's when she really got into hot water, when she was like, "Fuck all you foreign lobbyist motherfuckers," and
yeah,
that's when the Jew, like the Zionists,
right,
really came after her hard.
yeah, and I respect the hell out of that, and I think that it was like there was a lot of things I think that like were I guess maybe like I don't know, I don't want to say like I don't know how to like what word to use, but basically like it just wasn't like it was almost lost in translation because of all of the really polarizing things that she has said that like really went against like my core values.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I mean I think that that's kind of going back to what we were saying earlier of like the polarization and like those like really dark, that I feel like that was a really dark era for America, and not that we were like out of that necessarily right now,
she
but
definitely engaged in some toxic politics,
mm-hmm.
and that is something that since then. So she actually just announced that she's going to resign from Congress.
Oh, wow.
Effective January 5th. And the reason she's doing that because Trump, obviously, after this whole Epstein debacle, he went hard against her and started tweeting after tweet that she's a traitor. And not his tagline was Marjorie traitor Greene. And like he was going real hard after her, and she knew that he was going to support a primary candidate against her. So really her, like, going back to, like, she doesn't need this shit,
Right.
like, at all. Like, she's filthy rich. She has her community. She has her family. She has a huge family. She has her kids. Like, she doesn't need this shit.
Yeah.
So she said, I'm just, I'm out.
Yeah.
And that in itself is like the Republican Party, because like that means there's one less Republican in Congress to be able to vote and try to push these bills through. So she's like persona non grata within the Republican Party right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, she's resigning, and I hope she continues to, like, to do podcasts and like articulate her thoughts, and because she's a big tweeter too. Her
Yeah.
tweets are pretty cool.
That
too.
was, yeah, I think that's like one of the main things that I feel like I associate with her is just like some pretty like whole crazy tweets. But
yeah, she went on CNN. So like before resigning, she went on CNN, and she was recanting on a lot of the bullshit she said
really,
back in the day. She says she apologizes for participating in the toxic politics.
wow.
And
I honestly really respect someone who can like especially someone in that position who really can probably just get away for the rest of their life without like recanting or apologizing for anything. But someone who like will do that and like is willing, anyone, honestly, not even someone in a person of power, anyone who's willing and like to like acknowledge when they fuck up and like just be like, hey, yeah, sorry, that's on me. I respect that a lot.
and that was huge because, again, she's getting a lot of flack for just apologizing
Really?
to CNN. Like on
Wow.
CNN, like she's getting a lot of backlash from the Republican Party for doing that. They view that as weak. They view that as like maybe she is a traitor.
Wow.
Yeah, no, she's getting a lot
That's
of pressure. Like, imagine having very close friends, and then those close friends just like abandoning you for whatever. Like when things get hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with her.
Yeah.
That's what happened with her, with Tucker Carlson. Do you know about Breaking Points?
No.
I highly recommend Breaking Points. It's these two anchors. It's like what news should be. It's what Fox News, CNN, and all these other places. It's what they aspired to be. It's what they should genuinely be. It's a news reporting agency. Like, they are there to report the news and the truth. And that's what these two people do. Sagar is an Indian American that is super conservative. But then there's Crystal Ball, and she is super liberal. And both of them are super, like, they're able to articulate their thoughts very well. And they often clash, but in a very respectful and a very intellectually like sharp way.
Yeah. That's really cool. I feel like that's like, yeah, like you said, like what news should be or should aspire to be. Like, I mean, setting it up in a way that you literally have both like sides of the spectrum that as the anchors, I guess, like news anchors is like, I feel like that's like a pretty solid way to make sure that it's unbiased. And I mean, also just not having like, big corporations with their hands on it. So
Yeah, put their greedy little hands on it.
yeah.
I just want to play this
Yeah.
clip of her.
Taking part, but we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
Damn. You know what what just occurred to me? Have you seen any of like her daughter went viral? Did you see that at all? Like
I see she's been active on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know what she went viral.
She went
for
viral on TikTok, I want to say like years ago, but like for basically like she was like really against her mom. And I want to say she's gay actually. Like
Mhm.
and I wonder how much of that like has to
she's
do
been writing
with like
hard for her mom lately on Twitter. Like,
yeah, I wonder if they had like some sort of like heart to heart or like reconnection.
it
'cause
seems
I
like
think-
it because she mentions her daughter all the time whenever she's having a conversation.
That's really cool.
And her daughter has like anybody who's criticized, like big accounts that are criticizing her mom. She's quick to like give a good argument against it.
That's really because before, like when I first saw her, she was like speaking out against her mom. Like she was really like upset about the things that her mom was saying, and it didn't seem like they had like, it seemed like they were like maybe no contact or like just like did not have a good relationship. But that's actually like a really like wholesome like little character arc for the both of them.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. This is why I say like people, if people start paying attention to this stuff, you start seeing these people as characters in a show.
Yeah.
And you start to see the character development in all of them. Like, okay, well, this guy is lying because I know he said this, like he was given this type of vibe a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like people who switch up like that, like that's kind of, you could tell when, like at this point, once you start paying attention to this shit, you could start telling when they're being disingenuous. The biggest one being Bibi Netanyahu.
Oh my God.
Like that dude is, oh man, if the devil was real and alive today, I think he's like living inside that man's soul.
Yeah. He is like so terrifying. Like just the amount of like just different clips of like really like creepy. Like, okay, have you seen the clip of him talking about like basically the someday, like it was before 9/11, and he was like basically saying that like someday like the like he basically predicted, quote unquote, that the Twin Towers were going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's just so many weird clips like that of him where he's talking about things that I don't know, like I guess it's another thing of like just like the embedded
Here comes.
Okay.
Did you see that? It gave me a warning. It says the following content may contain suicide or self-harm topics.
I was getting this question in the 1990s, and I said that the West really doesn't understand militant Islam.
Yes, it's
so I wrote a book in 1995, and I said that if the West doesn't wake up to the suicidal nature of militant Islam, the next thing you'll see is the militant Islam is bringing down the World Trade Center.
Yeah. That I like. Why? Like that's the thing that is like those are the things that are making me like question like why have I never seen that until now?
Mm-hmm.
That was from a long time ago, and it took until now for that to start I mean, maybe it was circulating in the right groups, but like not like, I guess not.
Don't be tricky.
I guess, yeah. Not like to the, oh gosh, not to the level that oh my God. There we go. Oh, that's why it's like stuck together. That's why I was having trouble.
Not to the level of what?
Oh, like not to the, I guess like the mainstream level that it is now. Like to the point where it's like, and maybe that's to do with social media as well, but like to the point where it's like reaching someone like me that is not like super into it. Like I've never been like a big conspiracy theory person before, but I guess like Candace Owens has said, if you're not in like believing conspiracy theories now, you're dumb or whatever she said. I was like, honestly, slay.
Yeah. It's a really good point. But it goes back to making most of us increasingly doubtful of institutions, of big corporations, of people of influence that generally are very effective within the Jewish lobby.
Yeah. I think that, sorry, I don't want to talk with I think that, like, I guess historically, let's say like Democrats have been more on the side of big government than conservatives. And I think that it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, like with COVID and how everything, like they had really big breakthroughs really quickly. And like with China, they were able to get over COVID much more quickly, but like at what cost, And sure, it's great when they're doing the right thing with the power, but as we can see, the people who were supposedly doing the right thing with their power have been doing crazy things in the shadows and for who knows how long. And we probably only know a very small, like we're just now getting like the beginnings of it. And then I think that like while it's like I would love to say like ideally like we would be able to pass legislation that would keep people safe, give people better healthcare. I mean, healthcare I think is like one thing that like, okay, we should be able to do this. Everyone else does this. Better healthcare.
That's the other thing that kind of might blow your mind a little bit. But other countries are able to give free healthcare because they're subsidized by us.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
So we are the military power of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have all these treaties with all these countries that we will effectively protect you in your time of need.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that those countries don't have to spend on their military defense.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like indirectly, I guess we're subsidizing. Yeah, because we spend so much money on the military.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that. But yeah, I guess like in terms of like social policies and like social what's the word? Like policies that help people in communities, and like I think that like ideally I would love to believe that we could just pass those and it would like fix all our problems like with I mean homelessness is a really big thing that from my perspective like a big issue like growing up in Oregon. That's like one of the worst. I don't know what it is about like the Pacific Northwest in general, but like it's such a huge problem. Like I just remember like living in Eugene, there was like an entire park that was, I don't know, I'm really bad at like estimating how big how big things are.
Same.
But like I would say like, I mean, it was big. Let's just say that. And it was just like full of like, it was like a full home, like it wasn't like a designated homeless park, but it was like, there were just like, you could literally smell it from like a while back. And like, it was just like, and when I lived in downtown in Eugene, like there would be people like living underneath my window, basically. Just like, it was like, I would get woken up in the night when I lived in houses, like just by people like rattling through the trash. It was just like it's just like a way of like such a part of life, I guess. And even like now when like sometimes people talk about like, oh yeah, the homeless issue in Austin is like getting bad and out of hand. And I'm like,
it's been reduced a lot.
Yeah, I still, and maybe that's because I'm like so used to something way worse, but like to me, I'm like, what? But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just don't think, obviously there's no clear, I don't see a policy that has worked, you know? Because obviously even in the most liberal of states where they have supposedly the best like social, like policies, it's still one of the worst situations in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that it, like, as much as it's like sad to, I don't know, I guess I think that it's hard because I think that a lot of people use as a cop out, like, oh, well, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't sign this into law because it should just be something that our communities do for us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think can be like a slippery slope because I think that people just are selfish and in the end, and like that's also a really idealistic.
But that shouldn't be the case, right? Like why is that the case now?
Yeah.
Nowadays, because it didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, and I think and going back to like the kind of like the essence of religion, like I think that was like again like what the like original church was supposed to be like is like that was that idealistic like you don't let anyone in your community fall, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You are there and making sure that everyone is like staying afloat. And I think that that's something that like maybe they're both idealistic, like believing that the government will do it versus believing that like community will do it. But I think at this point, like I would be more likely to believe that the community could like pull through and do it than the government because I really don't trust the government to do shit at this point.
Yeah. But that's the thing is how do we build communities?
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with how well we can assimilate with each other.
Yeah. Or at least try to like accept each other for our differences and find enough similarities to work with those, you know? Like, I don't think, like, personally, like, I'm in whatever, like, what would you call that? Like, an international relationship or, like, different cultures, nationalities, ethnicities. And, like, going forward, like, I really appreciate the differences in opinion and perspective that, like, my in-laws and, like, my partner bring to the table, you know? And I don't want them to completely assimilate and be exactly like me, you know? And if one isn't and I have kids, I don't want them to be exactly, like, whatever, like, my side of the family or his side of the family. Like, I want them to be like come up with their own ideas and stuff. But I think that to have a close relationship with them like I do, I have to have like, we both have to have a certain amount of respect for where each of us are coming from, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that, like, I don't want everyone to be the same either, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like a catch-22 there.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate when there's no, like, clear answer. It makes me mad.
Yeah. I don't know. I think things are going to get real radical and it's going to get real ugly real quick. And I think people are going to have to start, pledging their allegiances again, especially with this Israel issue.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you're not, like, if your allegiance isn't to the United States, it's gonna get hard. And if it gets hard and your allegiance isn't here, then you're not gonna help.
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna help, then I mean, get out of here.
It's also a weird, I guess, thing, because I wouldn't say personally that my allegiance is to the United States, but it definitely is to my community. And like I guess to me, the United States as a country, as like a political power, I don't feel any allegiance to, but the people in the United States, I do. Like, I feel like a lot of, like, that's why I'm going back to school even, because I didn't feel like I was making, that's like a whole other thing. Like, I could talk a lot about TCEQ, because I used to work for Texas Commission on Environmental Quality.
Uh-huh.
And that was like really like disillusioning for me, because the big companies like Exxon, even the military, they fuck up the environment so much. Like PFAS, do you know about like the military has like just decimated the water system with PFAS, and they've done so many horrible things, and they just basically, because it's the US government like trying to regulate the US government, they're like, give us 50 years and we'll figure it out. And then we just have to be like, yep, okay, sounds good, as long as you have a plan. When in 50 years, I mean, so many things could happen, and like the water supply is not getting cleaned. Whereas there's like small businesses where they legitimately just get fucked over by either like big businesses will like sell, like, or bigger players at least will sell properties to people. Like, there was a guy who had just moved from Africa, and he was like really excited to, like, he built a church on this or like some sort of like church related company using this property that he had bought. And it's people that will like, they'll sell them under the table, and they'll be like, you will sell it to you, it's like this discounted price, just don't go through the banks, because the banks will make you do like an ESA, which is like an environmental site assessment. Just don't go through the banks. We'll just get this done really quickly, and then it'll all be done. And they don't know any better, so they sign it, and then they end up getting stuck with like all of the environmental issues that are connected to the site. And just because they didn't do an ESA and didn't know any better, the state still goes after them. So there's a bunch of like small, like individual players essentially, or like business owners, property owners, that are just getting completely fucked and drowning in debt and legal issues, when the people who like actually did shitty things are like Exxon and like DuPont. Oh my God, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They just like pay the fines, pay their lawyers, and get away with insane things, and it's just like a slap on the wrist to them essentially. And like that, I was just so tired of seeing that shit. Like, I was like, I can't. This is not helping my community at all.
Yeah. RFK actually led one of the big lawsuits against DuPont and
Really?
and Exxon and all them. Like he was like a huge environmentalist. Like there's a lot of shit. Like he cleaned up the Hudson.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to look more into RFK and his environmentalism.
Yeah. No, he's I'm telling you, he's a different animal.
Yeah, that's really cool. But yeah, that's like, I feel like, I mean, public health is like really like one of like a big passion of mine. And I like, my dream is like, I want to, like, I'm going to nursing school right now, and I want to eventually like become an NP, so that I can like
nurse
practitioner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to like see my own patients. And like, I want to like have like I want to work in like community clinics and like do like public health outreach and things like that. Because I mean, the hospital system is just so fucked. Like, I just think that it's like the Band-Aid situation that we were talking about earlier. Like they do pay well usually, which is great. But like, I just think that there's so much that, like, if we could just start earlier and just have more, like, a holistic care in general, it would just help so many people. Like, and that's the stuff that, like, you have to start in communities. Because, again, I don't really trust the government. Like, I've spent too much time in my life just trying to hope that the right people get elected into power, that they'll change it.
How do you feel about that, though? Is that it doesn't matter who gets elected? Because, yeah, you know how with Doge and a lot of these government employees were getting fired?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a lot of, like, it was sold to you as, like, you should feel bad for these people.
Mm-hmm.
They just lost their job in the government. But I saw it as, because the government isn't, like, the vast majority of it is not these politicians. It's these people that work within the government and that have careers within like 20, 30, 40 years within the government. And they know how to do their shit in there so that they can live in obscurity. Anthony Fauci was the
I was
highest
actually,
paid.
I was gonna, that's exactly who came to mind when you were saying that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw a clip recently. I don't know exactly who the guy was, but it was a guy from China who had lived in the US a lot. And he was basically saying the difference between the US and China is, in the US, you can change the party, but you can't change the policies. In China, you can change the policies, but you can't change the party. And he was basically saying, like, both of them are kind of like, it's not great that in China, like, there's one party and, like, they can't really change it, but at least they have been able to change their policies. And, like, maybe that's, like, the lesser of the two evils. Not saying that China is better. I'm not educated enough on that on all of that, so don't come for me. But I thought it was really fascinating because, I mean, it's true. Like, it's just a perpetual thing of, like, you know, oh, this side gets elected. Oh, this side gets elected. And every time we expect change, but nothing really, like, significant happens, you know, in terms of, like, bettering, like, overall quality of life. For Americans.
Yeah. But that's why I think it's beneficial to cut a lot of the jobs inside the federal government.
Yeah.
A lot of ton of them. Especially inside HHS, which is, I mean, you would assume that the Defense Department gets most of our tax money, but no, it's HHS that gets, it actually gets twice as much.
Jesus.
I think it has like a $2 trillion budget, and the Department of Defense, now known as the Department of War, it has a $1 trillion budget.
Wow. That's those are I definitely agree. I think that it's, I mean, I remember, like, when all that was happening, I think that it was like, I actually quit my job right before all those, like, things were, like, people were getting fired left and right. And I'm actually curious how many people, like, if there were a lot of people that got fired from TCEQ.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's like, but I guess that's also not federal. That's, like, more state. I think that there's a big difference. Because, I mean, there's only so much you can do from those type of situations. But I do see that, like, I think that, I mean, I feel like just government in general, like, the bureaucracy of it, like, even if you do come in with, like, great ideals, like, I was really idealistic when I came in, but, like, they beat that shit out of you so quickly.
Yeah,
like,
the people that have been there for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And you think you're going to go in there your first year and what, you think you're going to change this shit?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like,
well,
they had literally, like, it was insane. They had literally been trying to pass one single, like, when I say single page, I'm talking, like, front and back, and that's it. A single page document for the past 10 years. And it still hadn't been passed through, just from, like, within the agency, because the, like, top people in the agency were, like, going back and forth about, like, specific wording in the document. Even though everyone used it, it was, like, not considered, like, to be official yet.
Mhm.
And like if you can't even do that, like there's no way you can make actual like significant change.
Yeah.
It's just
And
so fucked.
it's actually illegal to do mass layoffs inside the government.
Really?
So even if you wanted to reduce the size of the government, it's illegal to do a mass layoff like that.
Huh.
They were trying to play around with that experiment using like justification with all this Doge stuff, but they got a lot of backlash, and they lost their focus on it because they had to focus on Israel, Palestine, and Ukraine, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they just kind of stopped really worrying about it, and it's like, okay, we're already getting a lot of pressure for this shit. We could go ahead and let go of this shit. And, like, we tried to reduce the government, but it's too much trouble.
Right. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's one thing that you that we didn't talk about that you think we should talk about?
Oh my God. I'm definitely a yapper, so I mean, I think that I would say like I don't know. I feel like there were a couple times where I was like, "Oh, I could like go two different ways with what we were going with," and I like didn't like go more into detail into one way or the other way, I think. But I mean, I personally, I feel like I could talk about like mental health and like stuff like that forever, but I also think that that's like a really like niche thing that like is not like, I don't know if people really like to like feel like that's like more something that people like they will listen to like a specific podcast to hear about those type of things.
Yeah, cuz I think since everything might go to shit, you know, like I think mental health might be the least of our worries of what's if what's coming is real. Cuz I mean, you won't have time to think at all. It's survive, you know?
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's just um I don't know. Recently I've been feeling that mental health has kind of been not like no one has tried to find a root cause for it, right? Like a lot of the attention gets placed on what the how to live with it, how to cope with it, how to I guess accept it. But no one, I don't hear a whole lot of like how did these types of mental illnesses develop?
Yeah.
Like where's the research into that?
Yeah.
Like why can't we get to the root cause of these issues and try to I guess resolve it that way as opposed to just like we were talking about earlier, putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, I think that that's one thing that is really interesting to me is like cuz like also just the like we keep seeing that like, oh, there's higher rates of like depression, anxiety, even ADHD, like things like that. But I also don't know like how much of that, like we kind of touched on how data can be like misleading. Like how much of that is just because we like, especially COVID, I feel like that was like a really big turning point where like everyone was like had so much time to like become diagnosed with something. And like that's like a like that can how much of that is like that it literally didn't exist before versus like people are just we know about it more, you know, like there's just like a better documentation of it all. Because I think that like I do think that there's I mean all of the things that we've kind of been touching on, like lack of community, like kind of that isolation and like all of those things and like intense globalization, like the news constantly like shoving horrible things like down your throat. Like all of those things contribute to like an overall like a negative and like really like highly overstimulating environment that I like humans are not really meant to like, they're not gonna perform at their best in that type of environment. But I also do wonder like how much of that has been happening, you know, like how much of that, like when did that trend actually start versus like, are we just like diagnosing it and documenting it better now?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I see what you mean now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're saying that these diseases and like not well, I mean conditions have always existed within like humanity, but we didn't have the technology back in the day to be able to diagnose these certain conditions.
Right. Or even like, I mean, to some extent, like it was just normal, I think. Like it was kind of like, yeah, everyone goes through like if there was no word for like clinical depression, but maybe it was just depression, like everyone goes through that type of stage of their life, for instance. Maybe, I mean, like a lot of like artists, like we look back and we're pretty sure that they were going through like mental health. I mean, Van Gogh like had like he was literally eating paint to like self-medicate. Like there's pretty clear like evidence that it's existed for a long time, you know, and maybe it was just, I mean, just more accepted as like a part of life and not so much like a thing that like you had to fight against and be like, oh my God, this is bad. Like you need to like,
yeah, it's like
stop
sometimes you got to lean into your mental illness. Like Van Gogh, dude. I mean, the paintings that he,
yeah.
You think they were worth the torment of his life? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. I think those paintings actually make people feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Because of like you feel the torment of that Van Gogh was going through or whatever.
Right.
It's like it's somehow like is visually communicating it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of art does that, and I think a lot of art that is made by mentally ill people specifically does that, and it's one of those kind of maybe other like catch-22 is like, if everyone was mentally healthy all the time, would we even have cool art? Like,
yeah,
and also like
it's almost like you need a pressure cooker of something to be able to, like, you know how diamonds get made out of with immense amount of pressure over time.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's one thing that like Juanes and I really, really believe that like in like the everything happens for a reason thing and like the butterfly effect. Like for me, all of the things that have happened in my life, like if someone was like, hey, if I snap my fingers, I can erase everything bad that's ever happened to you. And or like I could like let you go back and like fix your mistakes, I wouldn't do it because I really believe that like I love my life now and I don't think like I wouldn't want to risk that like one different step that I made would like lead me to a different life, you know? And I think that kind of goes along with like, I think that all of the things that I had to go through and all of the like things that happened were for a purpose, even if it's not like like I'm going to change the world type of purpose. Like, even if it's just a small purpose at like being in Texas and on Bumble at the same exact time within the range that Juanes was also in Texas and on Bumble, you know, like, and being able to meet him, like, and like be engaged, like that alone is like a really specific thing that happened because of so many different like choices and things that happen. And like, to me, that's like the pressure cooker or like not the pressure, but like, you know, like the pressure that like makes the diamond, you know, that I think that is like
adversity.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that like is like there's a lot of fear of adversity, I think. And like I like the idea of like, you know, I don't want people to suffer and like I want to generally like help people, but like there's also something to be said for like you kind of have to like go through some like fucked up shit to like
there's
be like
growth and suffering.
Yeah, and like you become a better person for those things. Like it's it's something that is just like a part of life. And there's obviously like some extremes of that. And like, obviously there's something to be said for like levels of intervention for like when you get to a certain extreme where like you're a danger to yourself or others. But for like the overall, I mean, it's just like even like antibiotics and like disinfecting, like we are so afraid of being sick that like our bodies are meant to fend off illness, you know, like, and like a properly functioning immune system for like most like bugs, like we can fight them off, but like we're actually like making them more dangerous for ourselves by like over sanitizing and disinfecting things, because like the more those microbes are exposed to that, the like there's leftovers that are resistant and they
like
can
taking too many antibiotics.
Yeah, like taking too many like in the food industry, like the overuse of antibiotics is like causing a huge issue with like antibiotic resistant strains of like pathogens. And even like just disinfecting, like there's research that's showing that like just like people like, you know, like the clean freak germaphobes that like will like constantly be disinfecting things, like that has like we take a lot of pride in the US for being really clean, but I wonder how much of that is like taken so far that like we're actually making ourselves more sick by like not having like that healthy level of like adversity, sickness, dirtiness, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think that you can really like you can take everything too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I was who was it? I don't know if I was telling Alex, but see, I called him
Yeah,
Alex.
I was like,
I
wait, are
said
you talking
Juan.
about Alex
Yeah,
Perez
no.
or
No. I was talking about Juan. Yeah, no, I still, when his face pops up, I think Alex still.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
I do. Yeah, but it'll get there. I know it'll get there. Oh my God. But what was I going to say?
Adversity.
Yeah. Shit. Oh, like sometimes, like you just got to embrace the suck is the saying.
Yeah.
It's just be better.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Be very much better. What do you think is the ideal like a caricature of like a woman? Like what is the ideal like aspiration of a woman that you respect? That's just like, wow.
Can you what do you mean, like a specific woman that I do respect?
No. Just like qualities of what women should strive to be good at.
I mean, honestly, I feel like whatever they want. But like, I guess to me, like, I feel like real feminism is not like telling women that like you have to be successful in a certain area in life. Like, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's feminism. If you want to be an engineer like Carla and like be a badass in that kind of in like STEM, you know, then do that. And but like I think that the main thing is like more, I think what women should like, what I respect in women and that I want us to strive for is like owning whatever it is that we like choose to do, and not letting like society or like the people around us like making us feel bad about that choice, you know, or like feel less than. Like, I think that, I mean, Carla and my mom and like, I mean, a lot of women in STEM, I think like have gone through, like, I don't know if, like, I was telling Carla and Anna that like my mom, when she was going through college for computer science, she had like a really strong Southern accent, and she like trained herself out of it because everyone thought she was dumb. Yeah. But she ended up like tutoring them, but she still to this day doesn't have a Southern accent. Like, it'll sometimes like come out, when she's talking to her stepmom because she has a really strong Southern accent. But like she did that just because everyone else like just viewed her as the same, like a certain way, you know? And I think that those are the things where I'm like, no, like own that. Like Carla, if you have an accent and people, you know, like, or Diana, like if you have an accent and people like act like you don't know what you mean, like, or like what you are doing, like I think like just owning that and being like, just not letting people like get to you and like not letting those type of things like affect you, I guess, and just because I mean, like
be
I'm
less
not saying,
emotional.
well, no, but just more confident. Like I think like not trying to like group men or women because I know there's a lot of like nuance, but like I do think that men, they don't really they give a fuck, like they give less of a fuck about like Juanes, like if I like you said like something like that doesn't make any sense, like okay, one thing I'm gonna Juanes, I love you, shout out Juanes, but he loves to say, instead of like let's like rally ourselves, like, you know, like get excited or like pumped up, he'll say like let's get railed, and like means completely different. And like if I said something like that like I would be like really embarrassed about, but like he totally owns it. Like he will not change it. Like he still says let's get railed all the time.
But what does he mean by railed?
Well, he's trying to say like let's rally ourselves up, like let's get excited. Like if like we're like tired and we don't want to go to the gym, he'll be like let's get railed. It doesn't mean any, like it has, like it does not mean what he thinks it. I mean, at this point he does know what it means, but he's owning it so hard that like he doesn't even want to.
Like he's just doing it as a joke at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And like he's just like owning exactly what like I can't even make fun of him for it anymore because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like that's how, like that's the level of like confidence that I aspire to be, you know? And I think that like that's one thing that like, I mean, I think society also like kind of teaches women to like care more about like what people think about them. And like I think that that's like the main thing that I like think that like you should just own what you
care more. Wait, who care more?
I think society like like kind of trains women to care a lot about what other people think about them, and like, you know, like like sets it up like the whole like, oh, if you're like too powerful or like too like talking too like too much, like you know what you're doing at work, then you're a bitch. But if you're like if you're too nice, then like you don't know enough, and like all these like different like things like that kind of come along with like being a woman in any field. Or even just like if someone like makes a comment about like not wanting kids or wanting kids or like only staying at home or not staying at home enough, I just think that like women just need to like own it and just like not let anyone, like if that's like what you want to do, like don't let other people like tell you that you're not like being a woman in the right way, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Not
really.
I mean, I got just give less of a fuck.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So stop giving so many fucks.
Yeah. About like about what other people.
Yeah.
Or like give more of a fuck about what you want and less of a fuck about what other people want.
Treat your fucks very valuably.
Yeah.
And disperse them out whenever.
Exactly.
Be more selective about giving your fucks.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I think that's another thing that even people that grow up with dads, sometimes you just get it naturally like that. Like suffering is okay, and you should be comfortable with that. And that you should always strive to be better, even when it gets hard. Like you're supposed to be the last resort, the last hope. Like, and you should prepare yourself to be that way, to be reliant no matter what, because you're going to be expected to care for others. Like that is the expectation. You like baseline. you should be at the very least capable of doing it. And sometimes it's intuitive just by like how you grow up and like what you did with your dad and things like that. But I think especially nowadays with kids that don't grow up with any like male figures, I feel like a lot of them are lost and all want to like look for like what should they be striving for, you know? Like what are their strengths that they should leverage?
I guess I'm like, I don't know, like one is grew up without a dad, but I feel like if anything, he was like way more, like the whole time that I've known him, he's like really, like he's always known exactly what he wanted. Like when we first met, he was like, what's your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan? And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be alive tomorrow. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not really sure, like, I guess I haven't noticed that same pattern.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because it's more these types of guys that aren't like Juan, that they usually just stay home or are just addicted to video games day in and day out. And just aren't you know, going out there or really trying to develop themselves in any kind of way.
Right.
And maybe like be self-destructive. Like I think that's like once you start going inward like that and just I don't know, I think it takes you to darker places, not lighter places.
Yeah, I guess that's part of like why, like what I touched on earlier about like what has gotten me out of those kind of moments is like looking more outward than inward, because I think you can get really lost just like being too focused on yourself the whole time. And like kind of finding something else outside of yourself that like motivates you, I think is like and it doesn't necessarily have to be outside of yourself. Like for you, what motivated you was like the idea of being like accomplished and like being able to like learn new things. And I still think that that's like outside of yourself enough, I guess, outside of your head, that like is based in like something like in reality, I guess, or like, I don't know, like just anything that can like get you out of your head, I think is like that you're like passionate about or like even vaguely interested in, I feel like is like a good start. I think. Yeah.
Well, we've done almost 6 hours.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. And
yeah,
it was fun. Because this is because we don't know each other too much, really.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, so like I had no idea what would come out of this.
Me neither.
I was just all right. Let's roll, you know.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was very interesting. I can't believe we did 6 hours on it.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that you were gonna be tired of talking to me for after like 2 hours or something, if that.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye.